The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. Two crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What is up, YouTube? I'm sorry I'm late. You know, Dolly got to eat, so I ordered some DoorDash, and damn, Jimmy Kimmel done showed up at my house with my sandwich, okay? Can't make this shit up. You cannot make it up. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. We're going to be talking a little bit about Charlie Kirk, the shooter, and his motivations and why he did this. We're going to be talking about that woman. I don't know if y'all remember this. Do y'all remember a lady named Leilani Simon? Anybody remember her? We used to call her Leilani. Well, we're going to be talking about her a little bit today. And, of course, this monster-ass guy, Adam Montgomery. But first, I'm going to need you guys to leave your DNA all over the like button just in case you go missing in the hills of Tennessee or the deep woods of Nova Scotia, or somebody snipes you from a rooftop. I'm going to need your fingerprints and your DNA all over the damn like button. And if you're brand new, of course, sub up to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and feel free, of course, to share my ugly face everywhere, okay? Let me give my warnings. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing as fact. It's just my opinion, people. Completely satire. The callers today, because I am going to be taking some calls. Opinions are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on Dolly. Don't get me sued, people. Everyone is innocent to proving guilty, okay? Except for Leilani. They done convicted her. Adam Montgomery, they done convicted her. But everybody else is innocent to proving guilty. These other people are guilty as shit. And the biggest one of them all, and by now everybody on YouTube should know this. And if you don't, Joyous gifted 10 membership. Make sure you give her a big virtual hug and thank her for the membership if you got one. The biggest thing of them all is never try to be Dolly at home. It is dangerous and you could die, and I am not responsible for that. Okay, so basically the big news today is, of course, Jimmy Kimmel, my new DoorDash driver. You know, listen, the man got to eat too. He got to make a living. But apparently he has been fired. His show has been put on ice, basically. indefinitely. They don't know if they're going to bring the show back or if they're not going to bring the show back. But a lot of people have been getting fired from their jobs for saying negative things about Charlie Kirk. Now, this is a slippery slope because, you know, I believe in the freedom of speech. That don't mean you still should say some hateful, dumb shit, okay? You probably should think before you speak. But I do believe in freedom of speech. The same thing that Charlie Kirk was out there and he lost his life over, his freedom of speech. Somebody didn't like what he was saying, so they took his life. Now we see people crying about losing their jobs over what they say. Well, I would rather lose my job than lose my life. Okay, it ain't quite the same thing, right? Y'all wasn't that sad when this family was burying their father and one of their loved ones, but you want to cry and moan about losing your job because you got on the internet and you was a hateful ass person at a time of tragedy. Listen, usually tragedies bring people together, not tear society apart. You know, there's a lot of people in the media that want us hating each other. And these people, they what I call instigators. Instigators are out there, right? I don't think the world hates each other as much as people make it out to be in the media, right? Like when I go out in my everyday to day life, thank you for jumping on the Blessed Express. Thank you. Make sure you get you a nice window seat. I don't see all this hate that the news pushes on us. I don't see it. Okay. Usually I see people holding the door for you. How you doing? Nice to see you. It ain't a big political fight at the damn 7-Eleven while you're making Slurpees. Okay. I don't see this, but when you turn on the news, it's all this, that, this and that. and these news channels are feeding people a whole lot of propaganda and brainwashing people into wanting to do some of the most heinous, terrible things possible. Okay. No matter if you're on the left or if you're on the right, if you're watching, you know, channels from the left, they're making it out to be like all Republicans are bad. And if you're watching news on the right, people on the right are making it out to be like everybody on the left is bad. And that's not the case whatsoever. As an American citizen, I am not that stupid. I know there are bad actors on both sides of the fence. Okay. Both sides of the fence. And what we don't need is people out here instigating things and making people hate each other even more. Okay. The hatred in our world that's going on today is not a joke. It's not something that you should be laughing about or joking about. And I think Jimmy Kimmel found that out the hard way. Now, his views have always been anti-right. Okay. Anti-right. And, you know, basically he said something about how Donald Trump was grieving for his friend Charlie Kirk. Now, I bet you he's sitting around today wishing, damn, I wish I hadn't have said that, right? To try to get a laugh in a time of tragedy. And this is one of these people that I would consider an instigator, okay? An instigator. And when stuff goes on like this, we don't need people instigating, which could possibly lead to more violence. And I told you guys, one thing I was scared about in this situation was that these people acted and then there would be a reaction from the right, right? And then there's people that are trapped in the middle of these actions and reactions that are not extremists. There's extremists on both sides. You know, and basically Jimmy Kimmel said that Tyler Robinson was a Republican. But I don't think so. I truly don't think so. His views did not align with the right at all. If anything, his views align more with the left. And we know that he was a registered voter, but he did not pick a political party. So to get out there on national TV and say this person belonged to the right and one of our right people killed this person is just flat out a lie. Okay. And it's that what good does that lie do but feed hate towards saying, hey, these people are bad and these people are bad. Dolly, you sound like your sinuses are blocked. Maybe a little bit. But the whole thing about this is one person's actions did this. This ain't a whole political side. And that's what this has turned into. Like the whole left is bad or the whole right is bad. And is it going to cause more conflict that we don't need in this country? Is it going to cause more people to get hurt? That's what we don't need. Is we don't need people with damn sniper rifles sniping people off because they're mad about your free speech. Now, for these people that have getting fired from their jobs, right? Like I said, this is a slippery slope for me because I say stupid stuff all the time, right? But I really don't have a boss. I'm basically a subcontractor for YouTube, Google, okay? But could Google get mad at me over something I say and terminate me? Yes, they could. It's a really slippery slope that we play on these days because I truly do believe in freedom of speech. Now, what these idiots and their morals and their values and the terrible things they were saying about Charlie Kirk, right? Horrible, absolutely dreadful ass people, right? Like, but do they have the right to say these things? It's kind of, even with me being a spokesperson for freedom of speech, just because you can say it, don't mean you should say it, right? And for these people losing their jobs for their opinions, I'm not so much, I don't know. That one to me is like, you know, if you're a terrible person, would I want you working for my company? But would you like to be fired for something stupid you may have said? Right now, I think if you have your opinions and you leave your opinions privately, you probably shouldn't be fired for private opinion. Okay. Like, you know, I have the right to sit here in my house and think this person's an idiot or that person's an idiot or this person's an idiot. But when I go out into a public forum and I start screaming that these people are idiots, should I have backlash for that? I don't know how to weigh that one out, really, right? Because I'm like I said, I'm a strong supporter of freedom of speech, and you should have the right to say what you want to say, but long as it don't hurt anybody, or you know, you can't run out into a theater and scream fire, or you can't go into somewhere and scream the big B word. You know what I'm saying? Because it could cause people to get hurt, trampled, things like that. So, I mean, of course, freedom of speech is not absolute. That is the place that where, you know, I wanted to touch in on a little bit is because, you know, I think over time, all of us probably had said something or did something that we regret saying, right? Yeah, he was at work when he said it. Okay, he was at work when he put out some false information and made a joke of something. Hate speech. I see people talking about hate speech. I think some of this could fall under a hate crime. I do. I truly do. And if you look at it like that, then, you know, this is hate speech. Like if you was up here, I mean, I don't know. That's just one of those things that I am super on the fence about. Like, I get it. Like, I understand it. Like, yeah, you are horrible people. But should you lose your job over your opinion? Okay. Now, like I said, your private opinion, of course not. If you have a certain view in your mind and you're not out there preaching it, then of course I don't think you should lose your job for it. But when you when you go out into the public square and start screaming your opinion, then maybe so, you know. But then that, like I said, I'm a person that's in the public and I give my opinions on a lot of things. And I don't know if I would ever want any of this to happen to me. Now, I can tell you now, I believe I am a good person and I respect human life. I don't care if, you know, somebody on the right, left, in the middle. Damn, if the president of North Korea died today, I would be like, rest in peace to Kim Jong-un or Il, whatever the hell his name is, right? I don't, because I respect human life. And I think the fact is that a lot of these people that came out and said these negative things, they didn't respect human life, just the basics that we should all respect. And you should never disrespect the dead. I don't care if, even if it's Charles Manson, once he's dead, he's dead. But, you know, don't do nothing ill towards the dead. That's just one of those things. And a lot of these people did celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk, which it's honestly sad to see it. It makes you lose a little bit of respect for humanity. And I think this is a little bit of what's wrong with the world, is people don't appreciate life anymore. And we've seen that over the last couple weeks, you know. But I don't never want to be at a point to where I'm scared to say what's on my mind. Now, like I said, would something so hateful be on my mind? No, because I'm not a hateful person. Now, if you're firing somebody, I think you need to make it clear that I'm not firing you because of what you said. I'm firing you because you're a hateful, rotten ass person, you know, that don't appreciate life. And that is important. You know, if you was working for my company and somebody inside the company died and you laughed, of course, I'm going to fire you. But that's leading into an action that is on the job. Okay. So I really don't like I said, I get it, but do I fully support it? I can't say yes, I support the firing of these people. Do I support that they're horrible ass, wretched people that do not have no compassion for human life? Absolutely. Okay. What do we do about that? Well, because we wouldn't want our freedoms taken, right? I don't want to see anybody lose their freedom, especially of speech. Now, I know here on YouTube, there's rules and regulations. They got YouTube guidelines where they expect you to act a certain way. And a lot of companies have these same things. If you do something so horrible outside the context of work, it still affects you at work. Okay. Like, I can't get up here and say anything I want to say on YouTube, of course, because YouTube will terminate my agreement with them and boot me off the platform. So but outside, when I walk outside, okay, as long as I'm not screaming that something that will hurt somebody or do something, I believe I have the right to say those things. Okay. So slippery slope. That's all I'm saying. That is a slippery slope. Now, Jimmy Kimmel, do I care about Jimmy Kimmel getting terminated, even though by Disney and all these other people? Not really. I'm not a big Jimmy Kimmel fan, to be honest, right? Especially when he said these things, like I said, on the job. It's a little bit different when you act out on the job than when you act out in your private life and then it affects your job. Now, I know there's a lot of people that have been calling people's jobs to try to get them fired. And I think sometimes people just say stupid shit without thinking. Now, a lot of these people were heartless, just completely heartless in what they were saying about Charlie Kirk, which is absolutely terrible. Like prayers for that man, prayers for his family. And I mean, they're going to need prayers for a long time, especially those kids that, watch their father get shot. And we live in 2025 where we should live in a civilized world, but we're still seeing people assassinated. I don't know how anybody in their right mind could support that. And if you are, like, I think you need mental help, right? Like, not only maybe we shouldn't fire you from your job, but maybe we should put you in a home so you can get some help from a psychiatrist. Because if you don't appreciate human life and you think it's funny that someone was murdered, you may need a little help, mental help, right? So maybe after you get that help, maybe you can go get your job back, but something in your brain is not firing right. Okay. Something is a little bit off with you to be happy that someone's dead. Now, listen, I've always grew up. There's two things you ain't supposed to wish on people. Does anybody know those two things? Anybody in the chat? Can y'all tell me that? Two things you never wish on people. But one of them I do wish on certain people, right? Because I believe they need it. But there's two things I've always been told you do not wish on the people. And that is death or jail. You don't wish that on death or herpes. Okay? Yeah, either one of those two things, right? You don't wish death or jail, right, on people. But some people are so horrible, they honestly do need jail, right? When you hurt kids and you're murdering people, I do wish you to be in jail. So I don't completely follow that rule, but I don't wish death on anybody unless I don't follow it. Yes. Now, even, I say you don't wish death or jail on people, but I do on criminals. People that murder people and hurt kids, I do wish the death penalty on. And, people that do these horrible crimes, I do wish for those people to be in jail. It just is what it is. And, but I come from that era where people say you don't wish death or jail on anybody. Well, what about these people like Tyler Robinson that just did something so heinous that it's almost unbelievable that got the whole country, not only the whole country, but the whole world talking about it, right? This is a pure assassination on a man because of his political beliefs. Okay. Now, I'm not a real political person. I don't follow politics. I don't claim to know everything about politics. There's things that people say on the right that I agree with. There's things on the left, some of it that I agree with, not much, but some things. So I'm kind of in the middle of everything. I just vote for whoever I think holds my interests the most, right? That would help my journey in life, right? But I don't hate on anybody else for their opinion. This is where we're running into problems, is people that can't out debate you. They want to silence you, right? And I've always said there's one thing you don't want in this world is a voice that everybody listens to. Because if you do have a voice in this country, you always end up getting assassinated. No matter if you're Martin Luther King or if you're John F. Kennedy or if you're Charlie Kirk. When your voice is loud and people are listening to it, it always comes with a sniper bullet. Okay. It is horrible. It's horrible that you cannot have a good voice or a powerful voice in our country because people will try to shut you up. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Now, of course, the sheriff, they put out a video and they describe their interaction with Charlie Kirk's gunman, which is Tyler Robinson. Now, last time we were on, we went over a lot of the motive of why he did this. And, he believed that Charlie Kirk was out there spreading hate. And, of course, he had planned this for he says a week prior to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now he was dating. They want to say roommate, okay, but we don't. I'm going to say boyfriend, okay. I think they say roommate. I don't know the reason why they call this man roommate, but it was a young fella who was transitioning into being a lady. Which, listen, I want to make this very, very clear. I don't care who you sleep with in this world. It's your own business, right? It's your own business. If you want to be a lawn chair, if you want to be a zebra, if you want to be man, woman, whatever you want to be, I am absolutely fine with that. I don't care what you do in your personal private life. I absolutely not. I don't care. No hate for you whatsoever. I don't really like you trying to push your beliefs on me, because I'm one of those people that I don't try to push my beliefs on other people. This is my life. I have to live my life. This journey I'm taking in this world is, you know, I kind of believe you come into this world alone and you leave this world alone. Now, sometimes your loved ones are going to take that journey with you, but I'm on this journey with my loved ones, not with everybody, right? And I believe the same thing for each and every one of you. My life is different than your life, okay? And we may be going in the same direction, but we're not on the same path. So I don't care what these people do. Just don't think I should have to know what you are, or know that you identify as what, or get mad at me because my beliefs are different than yours. Beliefs are almost like an opinion. Okay, my beliefs are different than your beliefs. My opinions may be different than your opinions. If I'm not pushing my stuff on you, don't push your stuff on me. And I think we live in a society where people ain't happy with being accepted anymore. They want to push it on you. Okay, like most back in the day, people were fighting to be accepted. Now I think we live in an age where everybody's pretty much accepted. Yes, they only got fired. But it's still a slippery slope. It's still a slippery slope for me, right? But like I said, I'm not a heartless person, and I don't believe I would ever say something so damn stupid. Okay, now listen, I'm a knucklehead and I say stupid things, but I don't say nothing completely heartless, right? And I think what they were saying wasn't just stupid, right? Wasn't just stupid. It was heartless. And that's the difference, right? So I know I'm going to say stupid things. We're humans. We're going to say some stupid shit, right? But usually my heart guides me, and I'm not going to say something heartless, okay? Because I care about everybody. I tell y'all at the end of each show every night, if nobody else loves you, Dolly does, okay? And that's for everybody. Like I said, I don't have hate in my heart towards any people, not people on the left. If you think you're a man that thinks you're a woman, or you're a woman that thinks you're a man, or you're a man that likes men, a woman that likes women, any way you can flip it, right? Doesn't matter to me. And what you do in the privacy of your home should never matter to nobody, right? It's when you bring that out of your home and you start trying to shove that down other people's throats, do I have a problem with it? Like, listen, I believe in God. I don't like Mormons knocking on my door. Okay. Anybody understand what I'm saying? Like, you good being Mormon. I ain't got no problem with you being Mormon. All right. Just stay the fuck off away from my door. Okay. We good. Any other way you can pray to Joseph, whoever the hell you want to pray to. Just don't be knocking on my door with it, right? I'm good with everything, right? You can be Muslim. I don't eat pig. I don't care. Okay? I just don't care. I don't answer, but you get the point. You see what I'm saying? I'm not out pushing my beliefs on you. Don't come pushing your beliefs on me. I think everybody's journey, especially in religion, you'll find that, you know, when it's your time, it's your time to have that. Here locally in Ohio, we have 5 teachers fired. I mean, as a teacher, the first thing you should be teaching kids is compassion for other human beings. And if you're not teaching that, then I can understand you being fired. Right? That's different than freedom of speech, right? If you don't have compassion, would I want you teaching my child anything? No, absolutely not. So maybe for them teachers, I don't feel bad for, because as a parent, I expect you to be a good human being. If you teaching my kid, just a good human being, right? You don't even got to be a good human being. Be a decent human being. That's it, right? You ain't got to be perfect. You ain't got to be a saint. Be a decent human being. Okay, let me turn this phone off. I put in for some insurance, right? Medical insurance. I was looking for quotes on medical insurance. And since I've done that, I put my number online and my phone hasn't stopped ringing since. Every bootleg insurance company on the planet has called me. Okay. All day long. Like, oh my God. Like, I almost want to change my number, but I've had this number for so many years. Like, my phone has not stopped ringing all day. So if you need insurance out here, medical insurance, watch where you put your number. They sold you, I guess it's ringed all day. Like, I know that's at least 150th time my phone has rang today. Okay. Like, unreal. And I did it to myself looking for a quote on insurance. Crazy. I didn't answer the phone, told them to take me off the calling list, cussed them out, and the phone still don't stop ringing. Like, it's unreal, right? And the bad thing about it is I don't want to miss important calls, right? Like, if somebody's calling me, it's important. So now I got to answer 700 calls from everybody trying to sell me an insurance policy. It's insane. It's insane. Okay, like I said, we're going to jump into what it was like dealing with, what the police experienced when they arrested Tyler Robinson. Let me share this video with you guys. Tell me if y'all can hear this.
I've got 4 on me.
Give me the thumbs up.
Okay. So I'm Sheriff Nate Brooksby, Washington County. Just starting with a couple preemptive things. So what I'm going to be discussing is not anything to do with the ongoing investigation. We are not the lead agency. FBI, State of Utah, DPS, Utah County, UVU, big collective effort. So our involvement, I describe it as just a really long agency assist. So we're not conducting the investigation. We're not doing interviews. I've been asked some questions, and there's some that I'm just not going to answer. It's going to be focused on how we were able to get Tyler.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
To voluntarily come and turn himself in at my office. That's going to be the scope of it. I do want to touch on, so I have a retired corrections deputy named Matt Robinson. There was some initial news that to the extent of ridiculous information out there that Matt Robinson is currently a deputy with the sheriff's office, and he physically put handcuffs on his son, the suspect, and brought him into jail. That's completely false. It just so happens that Tyler's father is Matt Robinson. There was some information about a retired deputy. So somehow that got blurred in the media. And I want to make sure that we're walking that back as best we can, because Matt Robinson, my retired deputy, has been been harassed. He's had to leave his house at this point. So whatever you can do to help walk that back, I'd appreciate it. His family would appreciate that. So getting into the details. So obviously we knew Charlie Kirk was assassinated at UVU in the afternoon. About a 33-hour manhunt ensued, and I was winding down for the evening. And at exactly 8:02 on the 11th, I received a call from a friend of mine who happens to be a retired detective that worked for me for many years. I didn't put that out there initially. I wanted to protect that individual as much as possible. Unfortunately, in the court documents, which is standard, he was referenced as a retired Washington County deputy. So I didn't put that out there. It was in the court docs. I was trying to protect even that information and just saying retired law enforcement in general. So I get a call from my friend, and his said, "Hey, how you doing?" Good. And it's not, he's been retired a few years. We'll call each other. It's not unusual for me to get a call from him or vice versa. And at 8:02 p.m., he calls me. Hey, I can tell his voice is kind of shaky. So my first thought is, who died? Like who's he going to tell me that died? And then I couldn't fathom what actually came out of his mouth. So he said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk shooter is. I know the family through religious association, and he's in Washington County now, and we're working on trying to get him to come in voluntarily." During that phone call, some information was provided about Tyler potentially having some suicidal ideations, was en route to a remote area of Washington County. The parents convinced him not to do that, and conveyed that they would stand by him and help him surrender peacefully. So at that point, that phone call was 1 minute and 41 seconds. I immediately called Sheriff Mike Smith in Utah County, who I knew was at the incident command in Utah County. So
I want to pause this right here because I want to say something. Like, listen, the family did not shoot Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson, one person, shot Charlie Kirk. Okay. So for people to be attacking his parents or, harassing his parents is absolutely crazy. All right. That shouldn't have been done. Matter of fact, yesterday, for you guys that don't know, I have Dolly Uncensored, and I do a channel where it's like a little game show like Survivor. And Tuesday, Stephen Stern's mother called in to the show. Okay. And if you're not familiar with Stephen Stearns, he is the person who unalived Maddie Soto. All right. Y'all remember Maddie Soto, Madeline Soto? He had been sexually SAing her since she was 8 years old. And yeah, his mother called the show. When she called, she said her name. And I was like, what? And she said, yes, I am the mother of Stephen Stearns. And I was like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. Right. And apparently there's another YouTuber out there that's been talking with her and Stephen. And I had mentioned that I wanted to speak to them about Jen Soto. So I guess that YouTuber told her about my show, and she called in. And I told Mrs. Stearns, I said, listen, this ain't the show to speak on this. This is a game that we play to laugh and have fun. The conversation I want to have with you is a more serious true crime conversation. So she did say she would call in. So eventually we may hear from Mrs. Stearns here. But what I'm saying is Mrs. Stearns was attacked in the chat room on Turtle Island. Everybody went in on her, right? My thing is this. It's the same thing here is Stephen Stearns' mother never SA'd anybody. She never hurt anybody, right? She's actually married to a former police officer. Enabler, maybe, right? Enabler. But it's one of those weird kind of things, right? Like, I didn't attack her, right? I didn't attack her when she called in. I was very nice to her. But the thing is this, I understand it. I understand where at the same, it's almost like the free speech. I get it upsets people. I get it. But we got to remember that, do we take stuff out on Jeffrey Dahmer's parents or Ted Bundy's parents or John Wayne Gacy's parents? Or listen, there's a lot of monsters out there, and everybody's their own person. They have their own minds, right? So be easy on the family of this person, right? Because you see that once they found out it was him, they did their part to turn him in. Okay. The father talked to him. They got him to go down there. They got him to face the consequences. So these are not terrible parents. Okay. On far as Tyler Robinson's case. They wasn't enabling him. That don't seem like they were trying to help him. They wasn't trying to help him hide. It wasn't like Gabby Petito's parents. Y'all remember that? I mean, Brian Laundrie's parents, where they were going to bring him a shovel to bury Gabby Petito, right? The dirty laundries, y'all remember that? That's a little bit different than giving a family a hard time that's enabling this person and helping this person try to run. They did the opposite of what Gabby Petito, Gabby Petito's family is perfect, but Brian Laundrie's family, right? You remember that? It's a little bit different. So these people, you know, they should be patted on the back a little bit for doing the right thing and helping get their own son off the street. Because remember this, guys, it would take a lot for you to turn your kid into the police. Some people say it wouldn't. Oh, I turned my kid in. But look, a lot of you are lying to yourselves. Most people's first instinct would be to help their kid, right? Either get them a lawyer or whatever. It's easy to say what you would do until you're put in a situation like this. And I wouldn't want no parent to have to go through something like this.
40 seconds. I'm telling Sheriff Smith, hey, I'm confident we have the shooter in Washington County. We're working on getting him to come in and surrender at my office. We didn't have him yet. And after about 40 seconds, Sheriff Smith's like, wait, what are you talking about? So he was shocked, as I was, to hear the news. And so I repeated myself. He said, how credible is it? I said, I trust this guy that called me with my life. And I think it's time you need to get your people, the lead investigators, headed to Washington County. Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives. So that was part of the deal. Is Tyler knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture in the news, the gun on the news. He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would.
I would have sent, as soon as I would have knew who he was, I would have sent the SWAT team to his house, flashbang it, tore every window and door out the house, tackled him, put a knee in his neck, cuffed him up, dragged him out the house in front of the whole news in the world. I wouldn't even have gave him that opportunity. This is a better sheriff than me, because as soon as I would have knew who he was, you could believe I would have went in there with full force and drug him out that house for the world to see it. It wouldn't have been let's treat him good. Let's be soft on him. He's just a kid. Oh, hell no. He would have got the full force of the law is what he would have got.
He would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened. So since we weren't the lead agency, basically it was about a 2.5 hour waiting in a room, not communicating with the suspect. Our job was not to interview. Our job was just to get him here. So after about
somebody asked right here, Criminal Med says, why did Jimmy Kimmel get fired? For trying to be funny at the wrong time. That's just the honest truth. He was just trying to be funny. It was more a joke against Donald Trump than anything, because when they asked Donald Trump about his death of his friend, he said it was horrible, but then he just jumped right on to about you know, they were building a ballroom onto the White House. They've been trying to do it for 100 years or something like that. And Jimmy Kimmel made a joke of it. There's a time where he probably should have just left that alone, right? But basically, he told a joke. His joke wasn't perceived well. And now he's in limbo about the show. The whole show's in limbo. They suspended the show indefinitely. And he just brought my food, DoorDash. He's a DoorDash driver now. Okay. I was like, damn, Jimmy, good to see you, man. You know, and he was like, yeah, you know, but if you want to see Jimmy Kimmel now, you got to order from Uber Eats or DoorDash.
2.5 hours. We ended up getting federal agents and state agents in, and some of my detectives were asked to go out into the community and secure 2 locations. So the parents' home and the apartment that Tyler was living in, along with the vehicle that Tyler was likely driving up at UVU. So that's about it.
If you're
Yes, he lied. He did lie, and he did say that the shooter was MAGA, and we do know that the shooter's views had changed according to his family. He had got kind of radicalized, and he was a registered voter, but he didn't pick a political party. Jimmy Kimmel and T-Rev are splitting tips. That's dirty. That is dirty. That is so cold up right there. You should be fired from your job for saying that. All right. I'm calling your boss, right? Mr. Coffee. We calling your boss. You are the next one getting terminated. That was cold up right there. That was just cold. That was icy right there. That was sub-zero. That joke belonged in Antarctica. That shit was so cold. Good Lord. Y'all are terrible. Oh, Lord. Jimmy Kimmel. That is bad. Oh, Lord. Joke of the night, though. The joke of the night right there. 2 points for you, Mr. Coffee. Now, let's show some compassion towards Jimmy Kimmel. Now, listen, Jimmy Kimmel losing his job ain't the same as, you know, one of us losing our job. He's a rich guy, and he's not broke, right? Like a lot of people, regular Americans, we live paycheck to paycheck. And if you lose your job, it's really bad, you know, because you can lose your home, you can lose your car, you not be able to feed your family. Jimmy Kimmel's pretty set, you know. To laugh at him is a little bit different than to laugh at Billy Bob here on the job. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different because we're not in the same financial. So if he never worked again, he probably would be good.
Sheriff, how would you characterize that former law enforcement friend of yours as doing something good here? Yeah,
Outstanding. He deserves full credit. I think that a lot of it's just the community relations, right? So Tyler's family trusted this individual. They knew he was involved in law enforcement at some point, and enough community involvement there that they trusted that they could go to this individual and he could contact me directly, and that we could facilitate a peaceful, calm, relaxed surrender, put it that way, right? Make him comfortable for a couple hours, make sure he has water, no communication until the lead investigators arrived. So.
Sheriff, you mentioned you got a call from a retired detective. What went through your mind in that moment when he told you what was about to happen? How did you negotiate with Tyler or his family?
So
what were your first impressions?
So shock, right? So I said I couldn't imagine the conversation that occurred in that 1:41 conversation. But there was negotiation. There was some criteria that needed to be met for him to voluntarily come in. And I agreed to those terms.
What did he ask for? Can I ask?
He asked for only blue M&Ms and Avion water. Okay. The hell with what he asked for. As soon as they would have told me who he was, or as soon as you would have said, I know who it is, and you ain't telling me, I'd have told my buddy, I was like, listen, you're going to tell me or you're going to go to jail. And we going over there with the SWAT team. We kicking in doors. And before I did it, I would call every media outlet on the planet to have them ready to film it of him being drug out. The perp walk is what we need to see. Okay. We got to set an example to these people that do these heinous crimes. We can't baby you. You do something horrible, and then we're babying your ass, right? We're like, oh, well, there were certain things we had to do for him to come in. The hell with him coming in. Go get his ass, right? I'd have been kicking every door in the house in. There would have been nothing but like, they would have had to condemn the house when I was done dragging his ass. I would have drove tanks through it, okay? I'd have rode up in that bitch like it was Waco.
Basically for
Thank you, Albie.
A peaceful, gentle, comfortable transition for him to come out. Again, he knew he was going to get caught. He didn't want a big SWAT team hitting his parents' house or his apartment. He was truly fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So that the conditions were as relaxed and comfortable and almost to the point of, inviting.
Listen, Jenny Bear, they needed him alive. For what? I mean, they got DNA evidence. They got everything they needed. They don't know what he needed was to be an example made of him. So people don't do this stuff anymore. Let's baby a killer, right? The blue M&Ms was a joke. The Avion water, that was me trying to be funny. Okay, don't cancel me. But I'm saying hell no to all that. I'm saying he should have been drug out of that house. He should have been, so the public could see him go to jail. I truly believe that. I'm glad he turned himself in. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad he turned himself in. But soon as I would have knew who he was, his ass would have had tanks driving into the house. That house would have been surrounded. He would have came out of that house alive or dead. But either way, you're going to jail, okay? That's just how I believe it. I wouldn't have waited for him to go, oh, well, what if he runs, right? Oh, let's just wait for him to turn himself in. No. Not only would I have done it, but I would have contacted the media so the cameras could have been there to see it. These things are important. These people out there that are thinking about doing something like this, we want to show you, you better not ever do something like this. Never. And when you do, there's consequences you're going to pay. And just like the governor said, you're going to pay with your life. Utah has a death penalty. It took a lot for his parents to turn him in, a lot, because they know he is getting the death penalty. But the only bad thing about the death penalty, guys, it takes 20 years to kill you. Okay, he'll be in prison for the next 20 years. Google says Jimmy Kimmel is worth $50 million. Okay, well, damn, Jimmy Kimmel, loan me some money. I shouldn't have tipped him, right? Damn, when he brought my DoorDash, I gave that man $5. I should have kept that $5. Shit, he's worth $50 million. I should have asked him for a couple bucks. But, hey, Jimmy Kimmel, man, you think you're going to get my sandwich and loan me like $1 million? Oh, you're 50? He won't even bother you. You won't even notice it's gone.
And if at the end of the day, we accomplish him surrendering peacefully on his own, I'm gonna make some concessions to make that happen.
He should have paid for your DoorDash, right?
I would describe it as quiet and somber. So not talkative, just no. Go ahead.
There's been reports that this family friend was also potentially a youth pastor or connected through the church. Is that the same person?
No church leadership, just an association through the religious.
Was it somebody in the board?
Jimmy just left the whole order too.
That, but not in leadership. Unfortunately, the bishop of that ward has been drug into it because of some of the media reporting. But that's not accurate. That's not accurate.
About the bishop.
Yeah, the bishop wasn't involved in this.
You're not releasing the identity, Dan, of the family for you.
No, absolutely not.
If you can speak to it, did the sheriff's office have any interaction with Tyler Robinson in previous incidents?
I've been asked that a few times. So it's well known. It's in the media. Tyler's apartment was in St. George city limits. The parents' home was in Washington city limits. So since the sheriff's office is primarily patrolling small rural communities, the unincorporated areas of the county. If there were any calls to the residents in St. George City, the highest probability that
Sorry, guys. I got kicked off. I accidentally hit the back button. Give me 1 second. Let me share the screen again with you guys. It'll just take me 1 second.
any data that would support that one way or the other.
Sheriff, did you have you interviewed his roommate, Robinson's roommate?
No, we're not the lead investigators, so we wouldn't be doing that.
Sheriff, how would you characterize the parents of what you knew that night?
I don't know anything about them.
Were they mentioned in the phone calls?
No.
Sheriff, how do you feel about the fact that this surrender happened as it was in the police office?
All right, guys, if you're just tuning in, I need a quick favor from you. I need you to like this video. It's absolutely free. Okay. It helps us in the algorithm here on YouTube. Hit the like. And then once you hit the like, I want you to shout out in the chat room where you're watching my ugly face from. Okay. So like the video and then in the chat, shout out where you're watching from. Let's see if we can get it to 1,000 likes. We got 1,032 people in the room. I appreciate it, guys.
Police station and kind of was peaceful, inviting as you framed it, and not like a SWAT situation or a big operation that happened in the neighborhood.
Right. That made him comfortable enough. The conditions were satisfactory to him to where he ended up getting a ride with my friend to be dropped off here. We did have some initial discussion internally. So I run the county jail, and we have to think ahead. So what if Tyler ends up staying the night in our facility? What does that look like? Because of the circumstance, he was driven to Utah County that night, I'm going to say maybe about 2 a.m. So that took that weight off us on how we're going to keep him safe in our facility and talking about constant supervision and things like that. But that didn't occur. Yeah. So.
How did you feel about that? Having a surrender at the police office versus something else?
Well, obviously it was a big deal. Not only national but international. You're seeing people mourning all over the world for Charlie Kirk, and to have that happen. Thank you. I've had thoughts and heard comments about, this kind of stuff doesn't happen in Utah. Unfortunately it did. But then to have the suspect be a Utah resident who literally went to the same high school I went to. I mean, we're like 30 years apart, but I went to the same high school. He happened to go to the same high school here in Washington County. So it's a double shock factor that one in Utah, and then the suspect happened to be homegrown Washington County boy. So
what time did he get?
I've recently come to learn that a lot of founders and
damn commercials, man. YouTube.
9 p.m.
What did you do once he got here? Did you put him in handcuffs?
No. Nope. Made sure he had water, made him comfortable sitting on a couch in an interview room, and just sat on him until the lead investigators came in.
So his parents didn't say anything at all?
No, not again. That was not our place to ask questions. It was just, we have you here. We're in a holding pattern until the lead investigators get here. So that wouldn't be in our wheelhouse. We wouldn't even have attempted to interview any of them.
Sheriff, can you provide some more details about this detective, a friend of yours, a retired detective? Was he a member of your homicide unit, violent?
He was a detective. He was for many years. He was a detective. So in our agency, our detectives, like some cities, you have detectives just working homicides or just working sex offenses. Ours is all encompassing whatever case comes next, and you have the smaller caseload. You're going to get whatever case that is.
How long have you been out of the force?
About 3 years.
How grateful are you the fact that this ended the way it did and not in a violent outcome?
Oh, very, very, very much. Like I said, concessions were made to make that happen.
I wonder if that officer got the reward, right? Because the family reached out to a friend that was a former detective. That detective actually is the one who turned him in. I wonder if he got the reward.
So if, again, peaceful surrender, make him comfortable. He's accused of a horrific crime. So it's kind of odd to be in that, again, accused of a horrific crime, but then we are treating him very civilly, very humanely. And that's just part of the job. We do that on a regular basis.
Oh, hell no. I've been locked up. Don't even act like y'all treat people good. Okay? Anybody ever been locked up in here? They ain't never treat me fucking good. I never got water in a damn couch. Okay? I never got gummy bears. I'm just kidding about the gummy bears. But no, hell no. They treated me like shit. And I didn't kill anybody. Okay?
To make people comfortable so they're relaxed and not bombard them with negativity or hammer fist or stormtrooper.
See, Danny knows. Amen, Dolly. Right? Hell no. They handcuffed me to a metal chair. Was like, sit here and shut the hell up. It wasn't none of that. Oh, we're going to get you with plainclothes officers. I've had a cop pick me up, handcuff, body slam me on the head. Hey, what the hell? Okay. They treat you better when you kill somebody than when you jaywalk.
Type approach, we wouldn't do that.
Sheriff, how many total phone calls were made between you and the retired detective?
There were several follow-up phone calls that night. One was between my command staff and my friend, just them letting me know, hey, he is in the building. We have him in the interview room. And there's been several follow-ups since then, just me checking in on him. And
all the way from that first call to say, we're here, kind of a phone call?
Correct.
Prior to him turning himself in, did you guys have any clue that maybe he was in the Washington area?
No, not even a hint. And that was part of the shock factor, right? Is he could have been anywhere. Most people that are involved or accused of things like that, they'd want to get out of the area as soon as possible. So the fact that he came home basically was part of the shock factor, I think.
You said he was afraid of being shot. What did he say exactly? How did he express that?
Just that.
You know what? Ain't it funny? He was afraid of being shot, but he went out and shot somebody. Right? That's how his death penalty should be. That he should get the firing squad. Is what he should get. That's what he's so scared of. That's what he should be punished with. You scared of getting shot, but you're going to go out there and shoot somebody in the neck. And they're going to treat this dude good? Oh, hell no. Look, what happened to good police work where your ass takes an ass whipping on the way to jail? They should have Rodney King'd his ass all the way to the police station. He should have been getting hit with a phone book as we speak. What is wrong with this shit? What is wrong with the picture here? All right? You let me kill somebody and watch what they do to me on the way to jail. I'm going to show up to jail with a busted head, 2 black eyes, broke arm, ribs cracked. This just don't even seem right.
Just that. Yeah, one of his fears of being shot by the police. Period. That's it.
Was your friend that said that, or was
that my friend conveyed that to me through conversation with Tyler's parents.
Any concern for the family and the roommate's safety if and when they come back to their home in Washington City or in St. George? Any concerns?
No, absolutely. They need to lay low for a long time, unfortunately. So even I'll throw this out, the second cousin.
Dolly, did they get him a blankie and a pacifier too? Yeah, they treated this dude like he was a baby. Oh, poor kid. We don't want to scare him, right? He's scared of being shot. But yet he goes out there, gets a weapon, and shoots somebody in the neck, and then he gets treated good? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I don't think anybody would have had a problem if his mugshot, he had a busted head and 2 black eyes. Anybody would have had a problem with that? Right? Press 1 in the chat. If you wouldn't have had a problem with it, press 2 and like this video. His mugshot should be look like he just took an ass whipping. Okay? That's what his mugshot should be. I'm disappointed in the police, right? I am disappointed. I just hate to say it. I'm disappointed. You gonna go to jail in Utah, okay? You'd have went to jail in Virginia, you would have got an ass whipping on the way to jail. Okay, I know that. At least I'm proud of my state. We will whip your ass here. All right, we shoot unarmed people all the time here. It's how'd he die? I don't know. Right? That's Virginia. You would have took an ass whipping on the way to the jail. There is no doubt in my mind. You would have got your ass whipped on the way to the jail. You'd have got your ass whipped in the jail. And then they'd have put you with somebody in the jail that would have whipped your ass again. You would have took 3 ass whippings before you even made it to the news.
With the last name Robinson, he happens to be an optometrist in town. And his office has been receiving threatening phone calls just because of his last name. So to put somebody in that kind of burdensome situation when they had nothing to do with it, no relation to the family, just think about how the actual individuals involved in this incident are feeling right now.
Are you placing any deputies at their house, outside their house, anything like that?
So that's not our area of patrol, so the cities would handle that. If that request came in, but I don't have any insight there.
Sheriff, can you describe the handoff that occurred from Tyler Robinson to the authorities that came down from the north?
Yeah, they parked in my parking lot. Oh wait, the lead investigators. So by the time they were in town, Tyler was sitting in an interview room with his parents when they arrived. So they were already in this building when the lead investigators arrived.
And how did that handoff go down? Was he handcuffed?
No, he was sitting on a very comfortable couch with a water bottle in his hand, not restrained. He was again cooperative, somber, quiet.
Not restrained.
Sheriff, since then, what has this whole ordeal been like for your county and your office?
I've all of a sudden received a lot of media requests.
He should have been in a Hannibal Lecter mask, shackled from his feet to his hands to his waist, so where when he moved, all you heard was chains rattle. Talking about he wasn't. That blows my mind. That blows my damn mind. Oh my God. Fire the police. They did worse than Jimmy Kimmel.
So that's what's changed in my world.
So the parents were in the room, in the interrogation room.
Correct. That was part of the.
What? Okay. The parents in the interrogation room, right? He is a grown ass man. Why are they treating this dude like he's a minor? They're treating him like a 7-year-old kid shot Charlie Kirk, right? This is a grown ass man, 22-year-old man. It ain't like he just turned 18. 22-year-old man got his parents in the interrogation room with him. They don't have him handcuffed. They done gave him a blankie, a fucking a dinky, and damn letting him sit on the couch watching Netflix. What the hell is going on here? Am I hearing this right? Fire all these people. Okay, you're all fired. In the best Donald Trump voice, fired. Okay. Now I told you I believe in freedom of speech, but I don't believe in giving all this to a killer.
Part of the negotiation to get him here is that the parents would be with him when he.
Volleyball.
The last moments that did they hug? Was mom crying?
I don't have any detail on that. I'm sorry.
And he was turned over to FBI or state?
It's a joint investigation between the FBI and the state of Utah primarily. Anytime anything this large scale happens, it's all hands on deck. So we're going to need a lot of, just covering the campus and securing the crime scene up north. We've had, active shooter incidents down here recently where every law enforcement wearing every uniform in the county is going to go to those types of scenes.
And just to be clear, he was not handcuffed when he was.
Correct. He was not handcuffed. So.
Did the sheriff's department help?
Oh no, we didn't want to handcuff him. I mean, you got to commit a crime to get handcuffed. Good Lord. Good Lord. Damn. Damn. They ever put handcuffs on me again, I'll be like, look, man, no, I'm not putting your damn handcuffs on. All I did was got in a bar fight. Nobody's dead. How the hell I don't even know what to say about this. I don't even know what to say.
Secure the perimeter.
Office.
Excuse me, thank you. The office.
He's smiling. Look at that big ass smile. Stop smiling before you fired. Okay, fire this guy. You're fired, Sheriff. Okay. Damn. You did worse than Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, give Jimmy Kimmel his damn job back. This is crazy. Fire this guy. Let's trade. Look, listen, we'll give Jimmy Kimmel his show back if you get rid of this guy that didn't handcuff the killer, gave them to sit on the couch and hang out and shit. They played Uno together. What is going on?
Help secure the perimeter or the
yes. So since the lead investigators were 3 hours north of us, it took them a while. So that was again, I describe it as an agency assist. We went and just secured the homes. We didn't search the homes. We didn't communicate with anyone within the homes. It was just, we were just locking things down until they arrived.
That was Thursday night.
Yes.
Thursday night.
Yep.
Is the roommate in protective custody? Or?
I don't have any comment on that.
The roommate. It ain't a roommate. Okay. I'm getting tired. No handcuffs. They keep calling the dude the roommate. You don't sleep with your roommate. Okay. Roommates don't have sexual things going on. Once you're doing that, that is what you call a lover. Okay. That ain't a roommate anymore. That's your boyfriend. Okay. Can't they say, well, is the boyfriend in protective custody? Is the boyfriend going to be arrested? Why is it the damn roommate? Like, look, they're treating these people like they're babies, like they're little tiny kids, like they arrested the Rugrats or some shit. Like, what is going on? They had baby powder waiting for them. Like, this is nuts. This is just nuts. This is shocking. Okay, I'm more shocked by this than like Jimmy Kimmel getting fired. Damn.
How would you characterize the interactions between the parents, Tyler and Tyler, in the time that they were sitting here?
They were together. That was it. I can't point to any emotion or body language or anything to that. They were just with them. So,
was he recorded in that room?
All of our interactions in that room are recorded.
I know there was some discussion of him being.
I like to see that. I like to see that video. Okay. I like to have been a fly on the wall for that one.
Potentially suicidal instead of surrendering when he was in the holding room here. Any concern about that?
No. Okay, we can sit here and stare at each other all day, or we can be done. Good? Okay, thank you.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Damn Utah. Damn sheriff. What? I don't even know what to say about that one. I don't even know what to say. I'm a little disappointed in the treatment there, right? You would think that you gave this man the opportunity to turn himself in when he could have ran. You know, you knew who he was. You didn't. No handcuffs. Let's sit on the couch until they get here. Damn. Damn. I don't never be at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words on that one. I'm thinking everything I ever done when I got locked up, I've never been treated like that. Okay. You got to kill somebody to get good treatment from the jail? From the police to treat you okay? What do you got to be in there for murder? Okay. I was committing the wrong crimes. That just seems insane to me, right? Like, and he's sitting there saying it with a smile on his face. I'm sitting here angry. He's over there smiling. I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I just know this, Tyler Robinson, you better be glad Dolly ain't the sheriff, okay? You better be glad he ain't the sheriff. Now, like I said, they did fire Jimmy Kimmel. They put him on ice for a little while. Basically, that's what it sounds like. It don't really sound like he's been fired, but they took the show down indefinitely. That don't mean forever. That just means that they decide to bring it back. But Jimmy Kimmel did put out a post on X that was really like, you know, can we all just get along like Rodney King? You know, he basically said you shouldn't be celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk and that his family is praying for Charlie Kirk. But by that point, it was a little too late. right? The harm, the foul that he committed had already been done. And the pressure from people mad about people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk pressured the situation, and Jimmy Kimmel. Was it the worst thing ever said in this world? No. And I don't even know if it was really an attack on, well, the lie. The lie is what did him in. When he got up there and said this guy was on the right and their own people killed him, that did him in. Okay, that pretty much did in Jimmy Kimmel. Like, you would think you're the head of this big TV on some huge network, you would fact check. Well, it don't matter what they mean. Now he's Jimmy the Uber DoorDash driver. Okay. Kimmel, it don't matter what the hell his name is. Now he's unemployed. Jimmy unemployed. Okay. I got a better job than he does at this point, right? Unemployed Jimmy. That's that right that time? I'm not celebrating him getting fired. I'm just joking and playing. I don't, listen, I wouldn't want that man, even him, not to be able to feed his family, right? I'm a little, I fight for freedom of speech, but freedom of stupid is a little bit different. Freedom of heartless, it's a slippery slope, right? It is a slippery slope. Jimmy works at McDonald's. Yeah. It's bad, right? And the way they treated this guy, oh my God, they treated him like a VIP, jobless Jimmy. Everybody, freedom is stupid, right? Freedom is stupid, right? You got the freedom to be stupid. That's what I'm saying. You can say whatever you want to say, but some things shouldn't be said, right? Some things shouldn't be said. Especially heartless things. Like, and that's what I said. It ain't he said something stupid. He said something heartless, and he should have fact checked what he was saying. Now, like I said, all these dumbass people that are saying dumbass things, dumbass people are going to say dumbass things. Okay. So, I hate to see any of these dumb people, not be able to feed their family. I don't feel terrible for you, right? It sucks you lost your job. Do I feel really, really bad for you? No, I don't feel really bad for you, but yeah, it does suck you lost your job because you said something stupid, right? You know what they say? If you're going to be dumb, you better be tough, okay? That's why I'm so tough, because I'm dumb as hell, okay? Dumb as hell. Right. But the bad thing is when, people act like they're smart and they say dumbass shit, it hurts them a little worse. Like, listen, everybody knows I'm a fucking idiot. So if I say something stupid, it ain't that big of a deal. You kind of expect it, right? You're like, Dolly's a dumbass. Of course he's going to say something stupid, right? There's not the same backlash. When somebody gets up there and acts like they all goody or they know everything and then they say some stupid shit, then there's a lot of backlash for it, right? Like when everybody knows you're an idiot, they expect you to say some stupid shit. So every now and then I get a little bit of a free pass for saying stupid shit because everybody knows I'm an idiot, right? That's what I hope it is anyway. So with that said, I will open up the phone lines for a couple minutes and y'all can discuss with me what you think about Jimmy Kimmel getting fired. Should this man have gotten fired? Where do we draw the line in freedom of speech? Okay, because this is my toughest one, is the freedom of speech of it all, right?
Hey, man, they rolled out the red carpet.
They rolled out the red carpet for that guy? I know, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. You know why, don't you?
No, I don't know why.
You didn't catch it in that little grin that sheriff had?
I mean, I don't know, unless that police department leans with his beliefs or something. I don't know.
Well, the sheriff probably does.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for that man. I don't know. I don't know what his political beliefs are, but they treated him different than they would have treated me. I know that.
Or me?
Yeah, they would have had me. They'd have had me in chains and kicking my ass. I don't know.
That little smile that sheriff gives.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the smile. That kind of made me mad. I didn't like that shit. I was like,
made me think that's his best friend and that he put in jail.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
it's
know.
Like his best friend. And did you see some of them pictures they had that they showed on about the kids growing up?
No,
he was sitting there shooting in some big old machine gun, both feet on the ground. And then it showed one of the kids with a rocket launcher up on his shoulder.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of redneck kids that grow up firing weapons and don't hurt anybody ever.
I'm redneck, brother, but I ain't never shot no rocket launcher.
That's what I'm saying. I'm redneck as hell. I ain't never hurt a fly. I mean, I grew up shooting weapons and stuff like that, and I ain't never hurt nobody.
But I mean, dude, the way they treated that guy was remarkable. And let mom and daddy come in there.
I know, like he was a kid. You ever been to jail and been like, daddy. If I would have asked my mama, they'd have been like, yeah. Your mama, they'd have been like, you're a grown-ass man.
They sit in the interview and tell me what the answer, yes or no.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The letting the mom and dad in when he's a 22-year-old man is beyond me. Like, I don't even know what to say about that shit.
But I want to tell you something. I ain't trying to. What they saying on the news, I believe half of it. I don't believe none of it. I honestly believe he could actually been set up to have a ploy to start a revolution.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think about them firing Jimmy Kimmel?
You keep your mouth shut. When you're high polluting like that, you got to keep your mouth shut.
I guess. All right, Doug.
All right. Hey, I'm number one today, wasn't I?
Yeah, you was. You were waiting.
Later.
All right, peace. Dolly.
Susan from Maryland.
Hey, Susan.
I bet you're just looking forward to my call, right?
I was waiting.
I'm always controversial.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was like, I know Susan's going to call any minute.
Yeah. I have a lot to say. I'm not going to take long, but for number one is the FCC was threatening ABC about the firing of Jimmy Kimmel. They can fire him because he said he was from MAGA. However, they didn't fire, or anybody is not outraged at what Hillmead said on Fox as a Fox host that said that homeless people should be injected lethally.
That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad.
No, I mean, it's not, to me, it's not funny. I mean, that's okay because it's your show, it's your, but the thing of it is that he.
No, I said the same thing.
He repeated it.
I said the same thing
over and over again.
There's bad people on both sides, and some people are instigators.
I agree, and that's my whole point. That's my whole point of the outrage. It's not about it's from both sides, but you see, if you look at it straight on, one person is fired and another person is advocating killing people on the street because
that's wrong.
All of us are one paycheck from being homeless. That's I'm one paycheck from being homeless. And there are people out there that do not choose to be homeless.
I know,
and do
absolutely.
not need to be injected lethally.
Now, I didn't hear that person make that comment, but if they did, I totally disagree with it. I don't think homeless people should be.
He apologized for what he said. So which was the truth, the apology or his statement?
His statement.
His statement was true that people should be injected?
No, I mean, I think he believes that.
I do too. But now people are just accepting that, okay, because he said the words, I apologize, everyone. Now they don't look at that what came from his heart, that people that are homeless should be injected, was not what he really feels in his heart. But they're going to allow him to keep his job and with what he said. And it doesn't matter if you're left or right. What he said is evil and wrong.
Heartless. Yeah, it's heartless. That's what I'm saying.
Dolly, it advocates killing people.
Yeah, that's never right. I wouldn't agree with that. No matter what. I don't think homeless people should be.
But I'm saying that I'm on a lot of social media. I've been following true crime for decades. I'm 69 years old.
That's like that lady on YouTube that said kids should be euthanized. Y'all remember that lady? Anybody?
Who?
There was a YouTube lady up here that said kids should be euthanized.
Oh, I never heard that. I never heard it. I'm sure that I would be out there talking about her, though. I would definitely not keep my mouth shut. People want me in their lifeboat because I'll fight for the right, no matter whether you're Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I'm an independent, and I see it on both sides. And it's, when I called in the other day, when your beautiful daughter was on, the point I was trying to make about people were like condoning, like not like making fun of me for being upset for Kirk's wife. It wasn't because I was crying. That's my normal emotions because I care deeply. However, people feel that if you don't like something that somebody says, their whole family is guilty. So in other words, because you may not like Charlie Kirk, you have to also dislike his wife and children. That's wrong.
Yeah. His
just
wife
like
and kids
Stephen
don't have.
Stern's parents.
Yeah.
They didn't. They probably raised him the right way that they thought they should, and now people are getting after his parents because he's an evil pedophile. That's my opinion, wrong or right. It's my humble opinion. And you know me, every time I call, I've got something controversial to say. And I'm not meaning to offend anybody, but there's things I can't be silent upon or about.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand it. I mean, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying, that if you're both saying something bad, you both should be without a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there can't be a double standard. And there is right now, because you have to read up on, and I do know the background of the FCC and the man that made this decision to get rid of Kimmel. But yet, in the same turn, they're not getting rid of Hillmead. All Hillmead had to say was, I am sorry.
My honest opinion on it is...
And those words are just as empty, because I can sit here and say anything, and it could be the biggest lie ever, and it doesn't take back what I say out loud because other people heard it. And it would advocate killing. But I know there's more people that want to talk to you, and there's more people that want. And I guess I'm going to be the controversial one because I speak my mind.
Yeah, well, I'd rather you call in and speak your mind and be an echo chamber and just agree with what everybody's saying.
Exactly. I'm not going to be that. That's not me, because then I'm doing a disservice to me and what I feel. And I'm not saying I'm always right, but in the same turn, I can look at it from both sides and see that this is what's going on. It's not normal. It's not right.
That's what I try to do, is look at things from both sides.
I know you do.
So
I know you do, and you speak from a truth. You speak from your past and your experiences, and that's why like I have followed a lot of true crime. And one night, I don't even remember what was being talked about, but I started watching, and I said, "Wow, I've got to keep listening." And then I started calling in, and that is with you allowing people to call in. That's a big attraction. A lot of people that are doing true crime don't have that. They just sit there and talk about this or that, but they don't allow people to call in and voice
their opinion. Yeah.
Or or say anything. And that's a big attraction that you have that many people do not have. And that's a plus for for what you stand for. So I'm going to really let you go because I'm an old lady and I can keep talking and talking.
All right, you be good.
You be good too. Well, being good sometimes isn't any fun, but
yeah. Well, if you're going to be bad, be good at being bad.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay. Bye, Dolly.
All right. Peace. Yeah. Listen, I know everybody's opinion matters, not just my opinion, right? And I know I'm not always right, and I can be wrong about things. I'm willing to debate and discuss anything with anybody, right? I don't hide from a controversial conversation or if your views are different than mine, because here's the thing, you can totally disagree with everything I say, and I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to get on the roof and look at you through a scope. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to be like, okay, we agree to disagree. We're adults here. We should be able to have a conversation without it ending and cussing each other out, trying to hurt each other. And here's the difference is these young people these days, they're not quite adults. That's why we call them young adults. Okay. Is they're not grown. At 22 years old, I used to think I was grown at 22. I did. I thought I was grown as hell. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was a kid. I was just a kid at 22 years old. Maybe I don't even think you could consider somebody an adult until they're 25 years old, at least. Okay. I didn't even start growing up till I was 25. I was just a big ass baby. Right. So, and we're seeing young people in our country do some of the stupidest shit ever because they're not thinking like adults. They think that this is the answer to getting what they want. And a lot of young kids this generation has been given everything they want. And there's just like, I hate to say it's a generational thing. It's a generational thing, in my opinion, right? That's just my opinion. Kids are raised different. They're soft. They're weak. They're fragile. They get in their feelings too much. They're like PC as hell, right? You can't say nothing that don't offend a kid. And let me tell you this. I know this because I got a daughter. I got to watch what I say around my own damn daughter because she gets offended by everything, right? And I'm thinking, as a 20-some-year-old, nothing offended me. Nothing. Just nothing. It's just a different time, a different era. All right, now that I'm done ranting, let me open the phone line back up. What do y'all think? Some people think Jimmy Kimmel should go. I don't even think his joke was against Charlie Kirk. I think when he was wrong, when he was MAGA. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey.
It's the Crackling Turtle from Texas.
Hey, Crackling Turtle.
I'm kind of on the fence about the Jimmy Kimmel thing because, I might not agree with what he said. I totally don't. But we have free speech. And, unless it went against his company's policies. Yeah. He has every right to say what he wants to say, as long as it's not between him and his employer, Yeah. I find it fully offensive, but on the same
what do you think about the other people that were just celebrating his death online and then they got fired from their job?
As much as I hated seeing everybody do that, as much as it sickened me. If we're gonna sit there and stunt their side of the situation and that kind of thing, then don't be surprised when the left gets stunted or the right gets stunted. You know what I mean? You can't say that they're all bad and I'm all good. And then, when tides turn, when they throw the gauntlet down on us, oh my gosh, you can't do that. Well, if y'all did it to us, we're doing it to you. It's a tit for tat thing now. Yeah. Whereas people don't come together and say, okay, I agree to disagree, like you said.
Yeah.
there's not that meeting in the middle. And I think that's kind of, in my opinion, that's what Charlie did, was try to meet in the middle and figure out, like, let's get our differences on the table. We don't have to agree to, everything, but let's like talk it out.
It's one of those things that are scary to me because my livelihood is my voice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, if anybody takes my voice or makes it where I'm scared to speak my true mind or my thoughts, that's a little scary to me. But I know this. Like I said, I wouldn't say something so heartless and so because I appreciate human life. I love everybody and I make sure everybody knows that. But still, just the thought of being censorship just scares me all the way around.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you don't agree with what they're saying, you can't censor. Or like when you start censoring people, that's when they're trying to kind of get to a common thought process, and not everybody's going to think the same.
No, yes, absolutely not.
And it's scary when.
Would you want to live in a world where everybody thinks the same?
Absolutely not. I mean, as much as I don't like certain viewpoints, they have every right to say what they want to say, as long as it's not against the law. Mm-hmm. It doesn't impede on their employers. If you don't like rules about what to say, become an independent person that you have your own company.
Yeah.
Because then you answer to yourself and yourself only, practically. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But any kind of job can fire you at any point. I don't feel like it was right necessarily, but I don't think it was right what they were saying either. And
yeah.
The whole problem is we don't value human life anymore.
I agree
Certain
with what you
people
said.
just do not value human life, and it's like I don't understand why they don't, but they don't, and they think that it's just. I don't know if it's video game issues that they are what. I don't know. It was just like that boy that young man when he wrote all that stuff on the bullets. It's like that was so immature, yet you're 22 years old.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. It doesn't compute to me because it sounds like a 13-year-old doing something stupid.
Yeah. Like I said, even at 22, are you really a grown man?
Right.
I mean, legally you are, but I mean, mentally, are you a grown ass man? Can I have a grown ass man conversation with a 22-year-old guy? I don't know.
Nowadays, it's like nowadays, adulthood comes at a later age.
I think so too, because when I was young, you had to grow up fast.
I mean, we were grown up at 12.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I had a different mentality, but even like I said, I don't feel like when I look back at it now, I wasn't really making grown man decisions until I was in my 25 years old.
Right. Exactly. I mean, but it just seems like it's stunted our whole American brain. Like our brains are stunted. The kids' brains are stunted. It seems like almost most kids, not all kids, but most kids' brains are stunted. They don't have conversations with each other. They can't look each other in the eye and have some kind of conversation. They have to text in the same room. Like there's just such a difference.
That is true. Like you texting somebody putting a 5-year-old on the couch, right?
Right. That's crazy to me. Like I don't understand that mentality, but it happens. It's just a whole different way of looking at life, and I feel sad for our country.
Okay.
That it's like that.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. It was great talking to you.
Thank you. You too. Everybody have a safe day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So yeah, like it is true. I think kids are a little immature in their ages these days. And back in the day, you had to grow up quick. Dolly.
Yeah. This is Paulette. I want to ask you a question. I don't know this.
Okay.
Did Charlie Kirk have a seat on Trump's cabinet?
Did he have a what?
A seat on Trump's cabinet.
I don't think so, but I don't really follow politics, to be honest with you, so I don't.
Well, see, I don't either anymore. And the only thing I've got to say about this, the man did not deserve to lose his life, number one.
No, absolutely not.
But they're treating him like it's the president of the United States. and everybody has the right to say what they say. But the left is getting kicked in the teeth like it's all the left's fault. And there's some good people on the left, Dolly, that don't agree with this.
I agree. There's good people on both sides, and there's bad people on both sides. There's
right
on both sides. What we need is people that are compassionate on both sides is what we need.
I don't think Charlie Kirk was passionate. I think he was rude to a lot of the kids. To a lot of the kids that he answered, yes, he was rude.
I think he.
And
I think he
tried to.
I didn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said.
Right.
But I think part of his whole thing was be a little shocking. You know, that sales, the controversy sells. And I think he used that to his benefit. You know, to be controversial, to argue, to start these arguments. But some really good discussions come out of arguments too. So,
yes, you're right.
Like I wouldn't say that I was a huge Charlie Kirk supporter, but I did watch some of his stuff. I really like when he would do the round tables where he would get in a room with 20 people and they would sit in a circle and then they would all take a turn going at him and he would debate the 20 people himself. So I get why young people rallied to him, right? He was a voice for the young people, and I think he knew what to do to rattle the cage. That's I think what I'm looking for. He knew how to rattle people's cages.
Agree, but I have another question for you. Do you want someone else's religion forced on you?
Absolutely not.
And I feel like he did that.
No, I don't think he forced this religion.
I may be wrong. I was raised a Christian, okay?
I don't think he forced religion on people. I think when he was spoke to, he would speak of his religion. I don't think he meant that you should go out and, you know, go to church. I mean, he may have pushed it. Yeah, I mean, he may have pushed it a little bit, but I don't think that was his intention was to push his religion. But if you brought up a question that he had to go to his religious base for, he would mention it.
Yeah, okay. I see your side too. It was just some thoughts I had, and I wondered if he had an actual seat on the cabinet of the President of the United States, because they are treating this like he was, instead of just a political advocate.
Well, I think they're treating it this way because it was a political assassination, and we don't see a lot of that in our country. We see
true.
We see people getting killed every day. We don't see people getting assassinated all the time.
True. But history does repeat itself.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
If you don't learn from it, you're doomed to repeat it.
It's going to repeat it. Okay. Thank you, Dolly, for answering my questions.
You be good. Peace.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Now, I can understand people saying he was rude, a little bit rude, or arrogant, or believe he knew everything, right? Now, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that Charlie Kirk said that I agree with. Totally agree with. Now, there's people out there that say he was racist or he was a male chauvinist. Now, I've watched enough of them to know that's not the case. Okay. Like I said, I would watch his round tables, not so much where he does the crowd. And then it's like when they would have 20 college students and he would sit at the table and they'd put them in a circle and he would sit there and they would jump from one to one and sit in front of them and he would debate them. Right. And then you could kind of tag out and tag somebody in and he would just sit there and basically destroy 20 college students. But I mean, it's hard to debate somebody when they're really good at debating and you ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard. So he would just destroy these kids. And I think that's why so many people, young people, looked up to him. And like I said, he started to have a voice And when you get a voice in this country, that's a scary thing to have, because then people want to shut you up, right? Like I said, I don't really follow politics. I mean, I watch the news like anybody else. I know the basics of politics, but I'm not like, oh my God, this. And like when people are arguing and fighting over who the mayor or the governor and all this shit is, I just kind of sit back and watch. Should the man been murdered? Absolutely not. And should you celebrate the death of any person? Never. Right? Not even bad people. You don't celebrate their death. Right? It's one of those things. I mean, there are some super horrible people in this world, and maybe it is acceptable to celebrate it. Like, let's say Saddam Hussein. Remember when he was executed and they handed him over to the Kurds and they were spitting on him and they were walking him, getting ready to hang him? It was hard for me to see that, right? Because I think there's a certain way, even in death, or you're getting ready to be executed, that you should be treated in a basically humane way. It's just like prisoners on the death row right now. Do we beat them on the way to the lethal injection? Do we spit on them? Do we, it's hard to watch things. You're about to die. You know what I'm saying? like you can hold the spit and you're about to watch this person get executed. And I can understand people celebrating war criminals and like people that may bin Laden, right? That did such horrible things like that. I could get it, and maybe there shouldn't be no backlash, right? But like I said, I can't watch anybody die without feeling somewhat bad for them, right? And I tell you truthfully, like when I watched Saddam get executed, I kind of felt bad for him. Remember when Gaddafi was getting beat in the head with the gun? I was thinking, man, I feel bad for that dude. He got that gun from Condoleezza Rice. I don't know. I think life is precious. My life is precious. Everybody's life, right? And if you're going to die, there should be some certain level of respect to that, And then, like, once they're dead, do you really celebrate it? That is like, does that make you any better than the person you killed? It's like, it's all wrong. Is what it is. It's all wrong. And it's horrible to see. Like, I don't want to see anybody lose their life, but I do know there's people that when you commit certain crimes that you need to lose your life. But I believe there's a respectful way of doing that, So, as far as like Jimmy Kimmel being fired, this is like for right now. Okay, he's fired right now. Do you think they're not going to give this man his show back? They will. It's where kind of things go with the political landscape, right? Things go with the political landscape. So if the landscape changes or when things cool down a little bit, I believe Jimmy Kimmel will have his show back. Okay, I don't think they're doing away with it. Like, it ain't the end of Jimmy Kimmel because he should have fact checked his facts a little bit, but you start spreading misinformation is what he did. Basically, that's what he did. Misinformation. It wasn't the joke, because the joke was more towards Trump, and we're okay with people joking Trump. Trump says some stupid shit every now and then, right? You get to joke Trump, it's fine. People have joked all the presidents, from old Sleepy Joe to Donald Trump and the whole COVID thing, right? Everybody jokes the president. It ain't a big deal. It's just when there's a time of trauma in our country and you try to make light of it, probably was not good timing, right? And to put out that misinformation like that, to me, is instigating, right? I just looked at it as like, Jimmy Kimmel, you're a little bit of an instigator, and now you're paying the price for it. Now, he hasn't been whining or crying about it, right? And like I said, he put out a heartfelt post about, what's right in this world about killing people. And it's hard sometimes because when people are a little bit comedic, sometimes we tell jokes at the wrong time. Even me, I tell some jokes at some effed up times. Like, oh my God, Dolly, you probably shouldn't have said that, right? I even Stephen Stern's mom called, right? This is terrible, but I'll let y'all know. Stephen Stern's mama called, right? And on Turtle Island, you can only vote one time by phone, right? So she calls back. So I had to explain to her that she can only call once, right? I'm terrible. Oh man, I'm surprised I ain't canceled, right? So she calls back and I explained to her she can only call once. So PJ tells me, she's like, well, tell her husband can call and vote if he wants, right? So I say, hey, yeah, your husband can call too, and vote. Or you could get your son to call. Wait, hold up. I don't collect calls. That's what I said to his mama. Oh my God, that was so bad. It was so bad. And PJ was like, oh, that might be a little bit too soon. You know what I'm saying? A little bit too soon. Basically, it's me throwing a jab at his mama because her son is in prison, right? I was like, you get your son to call, but I don't collect calls. It was terrible. It was terrible. After I said it, I thought about it. I was like, man, maybe I should have said that. But once it comes out, you can't jam it back in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. It wasn't enough to get me canceled, or nothing like that. But it was mean. It was mean-spirited, and in my mind, it sounded funny, but it after it was said, it was kind of like, damn, that was mean, Dolly. Did you have to say that to that lady? And I was just like, you can't take it back. You just got to ride with it, right? Once you say it, you got to own it, and but like I said, I believe he'll end up getting his job back. Yeah, she called twice, right? She called twice. It'll just be some time. Political landscape's a little weird right now. All right, I'll take a couple more calls on this, and then I got to get into the other two stories. All right. So phone lines are back open. Call-in numbers on the screen, 757-797-6694. So just the way you roll. I know. I say stupid stuff all the time. Help it. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, it's Big Bird.
Hey, Big Bird.
And Mini Bird. I mean, Medium Bird.
Medium Bird?
Whatever bird she is today, I don't know. I have some opinions on this. I also have an opinion on the guy on the screen to the right.
Oh, Mr. Adam Montgomery.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's very much so angering me. I have to say, I have big feelings about this whole being fired, not fired.
Uh-huh.
My daughter, my Medium Bird wants to tell you that a teacher at her school, there was multiple teachers in New Hampshire, are on leave or were terminated for statements about the passing of Charlie Kirk.
Uh-huh.
The teacher from her school has been head of the department for 30 years.
Wow.
Yep. So I have lots of feelings because we know I'm in law school and focusing in victims' rights. But civil rights are a big thing to me too. Mm-hmm. So I think everybody should have the right to say what they want to say, right? Like, I agree with you. But let's not be cold and heartless.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think Jimmy Kimmel really said anything. I mean, you have the right to vote for who you want and have a political opinion, as long as they're not mixing those political opinions with their free speech.
I don't think it was a joke that got Jimmy Kimmel. I think it's when he said that the guy was Republican that did the shooting.
Yeah.
I think it's the misinformation that got Jimmy Kimmel.
That's exactly what I think. I think it was the misinterpretation and people being on high alert. Mm-hmm. And I think it's being done just as a message to the public, to be honest. I think like the network is making a stand.
Yeah.
And maybe trying to
I mean, because we're seeing it everywhere. Like someone in Massachusetts on the government, I don't know, someone from Massachusetts State House was fired too. Like there's all kinds of people losing their jobs, being on the news for this.
I mean, I think people, they need to come out and say, well, it ain't about what you said. It's not what you said. It's that you're heartless, that you're saying something so heartless and we don't align with that, you know, because,
exactly.
But now it's kind of, it seems like they're mad about what you say, but really I think they're mad about the heartlessness of it, that at a time when people are grieving, you're laughing, you know, that's kind of like, I believe in freedom of speech 100%. And it, like I said, I tell people it's a slippery slope, you know, right now. And I don't agree with what they're saying, but I believe you should be able to say what you want to say. But just like anything, you say stuff, there's consequences for you, for what you say, you know, and freedom of speech ain't always free.
It's not. And the people that speak it are often, you know, you know what I mean, cancel anything. But part of this, I think, is kind of that whole woke thing that you said about like 27-year-olds being butthurt real easily.
Yes.
Because they are living in a completely different world. Us people over 35, from like 35 to 55, we are just way different than these under 25 people.
I agree.
We're just much different. We're completely built different. It must have been the iron in the water hoses.
Yeah, lead in the paint. Something happened.
Smoke in the cars too. That probably killed some of our brain cells or made us stronger. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had to tell you that I'm gonna actually probably I'll send the letter the school sends out to PJ. Obviously, you know, some of it says where I am. So, but if you know.
Okay.
Just take a look at it, because they're saying that it was because it broke their contract about the letter doesn't say it, but when it was spoken of at the school board meeting, it said it was because they broke their contract and they're not supposed to talk about their political values publicly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and there's some other rumors going around about, you know, sexual orientation and such, but that is really just rumors in a high school because there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
And Medium Bird wants you to know that she's got straight A's on her report card.
Okay.
And
awesome.
And she's like autistic, but top 50 of her class.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good.
Yeah. So
tell her to keep up the good work.
Well, she can hear you because she's listening.
Okay, well,
she's a listening bird now.
All right, keep up the good work, listening bird.
And that guy on the right-hand side of the screen, I wouldn't feel bad if I was there when an execution took place. But he's not being executed.
Well, he wants him a new trial, you know. So
well, there's big reasons behind that, and now I'm allowed to actually say. But I'll send that to PJ too, so she can show you.
Okay.
I don't want to say here.
Okay.
So I'll send it to you. All right.
All right. You be good.
You too. Have a good day.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Okay. So that was Big Bird. I met her, you know, when I was in New Hampshire. She was up there for the court case of Adam Montgomery that you see on the screen, right? Total damn monster. And this dude wants a new trial. We're going to get into that in just a second. Okay. But you see the girl in the middle. Can anybody tell me who that is on the screen? Anybody remember this girl in the middle? It's been a few years. That girl is Leilani Simon. That is the mother of Quentin Simon that was found in the Superior landfill in Savannah, Georgia. Now, if y'all remember, Dolly went down there, damn near lived in Georgia for like a month, and covered the case of Leilani Simon. Now, apparently, Leilani Simon, she wants her a new trial. All right. All right, we got to shut the phone line. Dolly.
Dolly, James in Alabama. How you doing, buddy?
What up, James? I'm doing pretty good.
What up, man? All right, good. Hey, look at here. Jimmy Kimmel, he just lies straight out, man, and he ain't no funny guy. His rating been down for years. They want to blame this little deal on him about what he said about Kirk. It ain't nothing about that. He's no good. He's no good. They had to get rid of him.
Yeah, his ratings have been down.
His rating been down for years, man. They would have got rid of him a couple years ago.
I know. I seen the post that Donald Trump made about him. Thank God they got rid of him. That he was trash, and his ratings have been down. He's not much better than what is it, Cobell? Whatever, however you say his name. Yeah, Trump kind of went in on him. Glad that he's gone, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, 'cause, I mean, you don't celebrate nobody's death. I don't care who it is or what it was for. That dude done that in front of the world. That he done it in front of Kirk's kids and other kids, and you don't laugh about stuff like that. And I hope they all lose their jobs for laughing at it like that, 'cause it ain't a bit funny. And if it's some on the right laughing, hey, get them too. I mean, and about the sheriff, if that boy been down here in Alabama, he wouldn't have got a soft couch. I promise you, he might have got a pad. If he was lucky, he would have got a pad while he was waiting on the investigator. But I'm like you, I'd have rammed that house.
Well, Alabama's still giving people the gas chamber, so.
That's right. Yeah, man. We don't play that there in Alabama, but them up there in Utah, they a little soft. I think at least get a little hard, man.
Yeah, they're a little soft in Utah. I thought the same thing. I was kind of shocked by it. I was like, oh my God, with this. And he said it with a smile on his face. I don't know what it was about that smile that bothered me, but for some reason, I was getting triggered. I was like, why is he smiling?
Yeah, and let me ask you this. There's one question I got hung up on about this dude texting his lover man about getting a gun. Was he up there in the area, or was he 3.5 hours away? Because it sounds like to me his dude was up there in the area if he's texting him, telling him to get the gun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just know that they're kind of sugarcoating it, because I guess they don't want it to be about the sexuality, what was going on. They want it to be more like, to me, like, why do they keep calling him their roommate? It sounds like that's his boyfriend.
Exactly, man. Down here we don't people may hate me when I get off this phone, but we don't sugarcoat in there about it is what it is, and I ain't making fun of nobody. I don't care what they do or how they do it, as long as they leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm a straight guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what anybody else do. That's their business. I'm proud for them. And I'm like you, I don't hate nobody. I love everybody. Yeah. And I want everybody to have a good life, and live their best life. But don't sit up here and lie and treat this don't sit up here and lie and treat this killer like he's a king or something, because he's a killer.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, and they treating him like he's a kid, and he's not a kid. He's a grown ass man.
He's a grown ass man. He put that gun in his britches and walked on up through there, carried out.
Yeah,
and that's why he got to pay. But I wouldn't have gave him a lollipop. That's for sure, brother.
No,
look here, we love you. Look here, I love you, man. We love your show, and Alabama loves you. Keep rocking, okay?
All right, you be good, brother. Peace.
Peace, man. Peace.
Okay, so yeah, that's right. This ain't the bank. You don't get no lollipop. There ain't no suckers here, right? He should have been chained up, handcuffed up, being pulled in there on a damn, like Hannibal Lecter. Strap his ass to a damn dolly and wheel him in there. That's how I look at it. Like, a criminal should be treated like a criminal. We're not, just because we negotiate with criminals, right? I thought we didn't negotiate with terrorists in this country. What he did is borderline terrorist, right? He's trying to make people scared to talk. Think about if you have something to say. Are you going to want to go out there and say it? Hell no, somebody might shoot me. That's why I say, like, I never want my voice to be that strong, because right now I'm just an idiot with 895 people watching me. That ain't no threat to my life. Now, there was 80,000 people watching me. Yeah, then I'd be a little scared about what I said, right? Right now, I don't have to worry too much because I feel like, oh, well, Dolly's just an idiot. Nobody's going to shoot me. But look at everybody that had a big voice in our world. They all got assassinated, right? Anybody with a powerful voice in our country has been killed. That's the reason right there that you don't want to be good at talking. Dolly, please apply for Kimmel's job. They ain't letting no redneck like me on TV. Okay. Thank God for YouTube, right? Thank God for you can believe they ain't letting me on TV. How long you think I'd make it before I got fired? Before I said some stupid shit, right? It'd be the first week. You gotta get that dude up out of here, right? To me, it is domestic terrorism. You're trying to strike fear to the people where the people are scared to give their opinions. This ain't a regular murder, right? A regular murder is you rob somebody and shot him. This is you trying to make this is political, which is weird because, like I said, I don't usually talk politics here because I believe it divides people, and I'm more about bringing people together than dividing people. And that's why I don't like to talk it, because everybody has a different opinion when it comes to politics, and people don't know how to act. They don't know how to discuss it. They want to fight about it. And that don't never solve anything. Fighting never solves anything. Discussion does. Because then at least as two adults, you can come to a common ground where maybe you can understand each other, and where everybody, even if you disagree, we can understand where everybody is coming from. That's the important thing. And some people are so far right or so far left, they don't want to hear that middle ground shit. Like, you know how I say I'm kind of in the middle? They don't want to hear that. They're like, pick a side, right? Pick a side. And, you know, I always lean
they may as well
more
have
one
gotten
way.
Tyler a Happy Meal.
Yes, Sarah, right? You're right. They should. Like James from Alabama said, I love everybody. I want everybody to have their best life. What I don't agree with is you forcing your life onto me. And I'm openly about it, saying that, right? Like I ain't got nothing against Mormons, but I don't want you come knocking on the door trying to sell me the Book of Mormon, okay? It's just, I don't want that for me. You know, I don't got time to talk to you for 2 hours. You know, I'm religious. You know, but I'm not out here trying to knock on your door and read the Bible to you. Okay. And whatever your sexuality is, to me, sexuality and who you sleep with is something that you do in your private life. Okay. What you do in your bedroom is your business, nobody else's business. Now, what you're doing in the bedroom, the problem is that's being drug out into the street and put in people's faces. I don't 100% agree with that. Okay. But like I said, I love everybody. I want everybody to have the best life they can possibly have. Now, let's get into some true crime that don't have shit to do with politics. Are y'all down for that? All right, let's get away from the politics and let's get into crazy baby mama. Okay, crazy baby mama sleeping with the drug dealer. Leilani Simon, my ex-fiance. Okay, just kidding. I was never going to marry Leilani. It was a joke. Okay, I still had the sign that says, will you marry me? Right over there. So, you know, if you're not familiar, a few years ago, this lady throws her baby in the dumpster and basically says the baby vanishes. And of course, everybody knows that she did it. Finally, it comes out that the police say in Savannah, the only suspect they have is Leilani Simon in the disappearance of Quentin Simon. So, you know, all hell's breaking loose in front of her house. Dolly's out there. Some crazy lady with a bullhorn's out there. A few crazy ladies with bullhorns, be a matter of fact. And a clown. There was a clown. Okay. You can't even make this shit up, right? But anyway, she was eventually arrested for the murder of Quentin Simon. Now, she had a trial. During her trial, Dolly had a massive heart attack. Almost died. They had to shock me back to life. You know, I had a heart doctor's appointment yesterday, and he reminded me of that, right? He said, you know, they had to shock you back. You died. And, you know, he was going over, you know, some stuff with me. And it was scary. It was just a scary conversation to have with the doctor. But during that trial, I had that heart attack, and my sentencing was in October. So shortly after my heart attack, me and PJ jumped in the car and drove down to Savannah for the sentencing of Leilani Simon, because I wanted to be there when she went to prison. I wanted to see her cry, right? I wanted to see those tears, because she never cried for Quentin during the court case itself. But she did cry when she was found guilty. But them tears were for her, not her baby. She never gave two shits about Quentin Simon. And the reason why was, this is from what people say. I don't know if this is fact or just might be just a little bit of my opinion, that she didn't really like Quentin Simon's dad. And she took that out on little baby Quentin. The other kids, she took good care of. She didn't abuse those kids. Just Quentin, right? And like I said, a lot of people said that she had, the dad's name was Bubba. She didn't, for some reason, she had some resentment towards Bubba, and she was just abusive to the child. I don't know if Quentin reminded her of Bubba, but to me, Quentin Simon looked just like Leilani. He looked just like her. It was almost like a little replica of her ass, right? Like when I seen Quentin, she looked so much like Leilani that, or maybe she hated herself and she saw herself in Quentin. I'm not quite sure. But whatever it was, she was going out, getting high, sleeping with the dope man, okay? Cheating on Danny. Then, of course, she's out there blaming Danny for doing it. She's still blaming Danny for doing this. So she was convicted in court, and she was sentenced to 40 years, right? Life, with the possibility of parole, plus 10 years. I think that's what it was. Life plus 10 years. With the possibility of parole. Now, me, it was Judge Stokes. I still remember the judge's name. And everybody said she was a really hard judge, tough judge. But when I heard the sentence, listen, I'm glad the lady's in prison, don't get me wrong. But I believe she shouldn't never get out, or even have the possibility or a chance to get out. Well, basically now she is asking for a new trial, and she has a motion that's going forward in January to see if she can get this new trial. She's saying that the evidence that she was convicted on is not good enough to convict her for the murder of, basically saying she killed Quentin Simon, because they couldn't determine the cause of death in the Quentin Simon case. So there's the possibility that this baby could have accidentally died and she disposed of their body. Now, here's one thing in court. They never went over how Leilani killed Quentin Simon. They never even said she strangled him, shaked him, kicked him, choked. They never even addressed how this baby died in court. Now, I'm sitting here through the whole court trial like, oh my God, this is going to be hard. This is a hard conviction. This is going to be a hard conviction because there's no way to determine how this baby died. Yeah, it wasn't that hard. They convicted her ass, right? But now she is asking for a new trial. And we're going to pull up some news on that real fast so you guys can hear this.
Breaking news at 4, Leilani Simon, the Savannah mother convicted for murdering her toddler son, is fighting for a new trial. Good afternoon, I'm Shannon Royster. WJCL 22 News has obtained her motion for a new trial. Simon was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for the killing of her 20-month-old son, Quentin Simon, back in November. Authorities found his remains in a Savannah landfill. Now, in this new motion, Simon's attorney argues the jury's verdict was contrary to the evidence. Her constitutional rights were violated and rejected.
I was sitting right behind Billy Joe right there.
Evidence revealed in court. We'll continue to follow this breaking news on air and online, and you can find a detailed timeline on the Quentin Simon case. That's on our website, WJCL.com.
such a pretty little boy, right? That's what made it so bad. And you know, there's so many people out there that would have been happy to take Quentin.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet.
All right, let me pause that. Like I say, there were so many people that would have easily took this baby, but no, you know, instead of giving this to somebody that she loved and that would love him, she just took his life. And we don't know exactly how she took his life. We don't know if he was alive when he went into that dumpster and she left him for dead or what. Because when they found Quentin Simon's body, they only found partial remains. And the remains that they found had already been ran over by excavators and bulldozers and all kinds of just horrible. That's her twin. Yeah, I mean, it looks just like her, right? I know. I said the same thing. And, you know, talking to Leilani, right? And this is one thing that's weird to have experience in is talking to baby killers. You know, when I was talking to Leilani, in her mind, I don't think she understood the severity of what she had done. I truly don't. I think drugs had trapped her at the age of 16 years old. I just truly do. And, you know, when you do these substances and you're basically a drug addict by the time you're a young lady, and she just had the mentality of a 15, 16-year-old. She didn't realize she was going to prison forever. And I kept telling her, I was like, listen, Leilani, you don't come out here and talk to me. I ain't going to write you when you're in prison forever because everybody's going to forget about you. And I ain't going to forget about you. So if you don't come out here and talk to me, I'm not going to write you. That's horrible. That is just fucking horrible, right? But that's what I told her. I said, everybody's going to forget you. All these people that are here with you now, you'll be lucky to get one letter in the mail, right? You better come talk to me. And she kept sticking her head out from behind the fence saying, I'm not going to prison. I'm not going to prison. And I truly think she believed that. I truly do. And then, of course, you know, as I started talking to her, she started to blame more of Danny for being responsible in the death of Quentin Simon. And she also asked for some Dolly soap. Okay, she wanted some Dolly soap. Now, she needs Dolly soap on a rope, okay, because her ass is sitting in prison. But I pray and hope they don't grant this woman a new trial. We won't know till January. She has a motion that goes in front of the courts in January, early January too. I thought my days of being in Savannah were over. Okay. When I left Savannah, there's some really good, I met some awesome people in Savannah. That's the bad thing. Savannah itself, when I left Savannah, I was like, I hope I don't never have to come back to this place, right? Ever. But the people there are awesome. Some of the people there are awesome. And the rest of you are crazy as hell. I met some of the most crazy ass people I have ever seen in Georgia, right? I didn't even know they made them people that crazy, right? This crazy as shit. There ain't many places you can go in this country and meet a Wanda Boatwright. Okay. That is all kind of special Georgia shit right there. Right. It's so bad. I remember the girl's name. Like, oh my God, I will never forget you, woman. Right. Crazy as hell. Right. It's batshit nutty crazy. But then, you know, you got really good people, really sweet, genuine people, and there's some nuts. So I was just like, some of the people I really like, I just don't want to, I just don't a big fan of Savannah, right? I'm just not a big fan of Savannah. It left a bad taste and crooked police kind of vibe in my, to me, right? Miss Ann, yeah, Miss Ann's great. I love Miss Ann. When we were down there last time, I went and visited Miss Ann. Like I said, there's some really good people there. That's the bad thing about it. Because, you know, I don't really like Savannah. So, but the people there, like I said, there's some super good people in Savannah that, like I would like to visit, but I don't really want to visit Savannah. So it's just like a yin and a yang, right? But if she goes back to court, of course, I'm going to have to go back down to Savannah for this. I don't want to see this woman get a new trial, right? I like, she just don't get it. Even when she was locked up, she was bitching about colored pencils and shit like that. Not bitching about the death of her kid or somebody killed her kid, but colored pencils, right? So, and then, James, thank you so much. She's in prison, and now she has all these prison boyfriends, like guys on the outside, apparently, that like convicts. When we ended our our relationship, when we broke off our wedding plans, apparently she got a few new boyfriends on the outside that have been paying, like sending her money. We know that because, some of her jailhouse phone calls have been put out, and it's all these dudes that are like trying to hook up with her. Like, listen, there is some desperate ass dudes in this world. Oh my God. Let me shoot my shot. She'll be out in 40 years. I'll wait 40 years for you, girl. I'm going to be here when you get out. Like, what the hell are them dudes smoking? Okay. Like, what the hell? The day you get $1 from me sitting in the penitentiary for the next 40 years. And like, I understand people alone. Some women too. Some women marry dudes that are in prison, or they get up with some killer. And then when he gets out and he strangles you, you make a big deal about it. Like, what the hell did you think when you got with a killer or somebody that spent 50 years in prison and you waiting on them and paying for them and shit like that? That shit is weird to me. Like, dude, like, get a life, like a real one. Like, refresh your browser if you've been here for 2 hours. Yes. Okay. Thank you, dear. That is a good way to help us in our numbers, right? It helps in the algorithm a little bit too if you refresh your page every now and then. But to see, like, Leilani, I ain't trying to body shame anybody. It ain't about that. The woman has gained a lot of damn weight, and that's eating cupcakes and cookies that these sucker ass dudes are paying for on the outside, and they're sending her money. Right. So she's having these little phone relationships. It's weird. It's weird. But my hope is she don't never get her ass out of prison. All right. That's what I'm hoping. And
I'm Winsome Earl Sears, candidate for governor.
Let me pause that. But it's a scary situation because, like she's saying, there's no proof that she killed Quentin Simon. The police did a terrible job. There was blood that they never tested. There was they never even discussed how the baby died in court, which to me is kind of hard to believe, right? That this woman's done went to trial, but you're not even going to discuss how this baby died. So let me pause this. I'm just praying, like I said, that she don't get a new trial, that they deny this. And if she does, I'm praying to God, they keep her in prison. Oh my God, how has it been 2 hours? Yeah, we've been here for 2.5 hours, right? We talked about Charlie Kirk for a good 2 hours, and Jimmy Kimmel and all that good stuff. So, and of course, we got the situation of Adam Montgomery. Now, this story, I don't know, these two are really like get to me because, I was so involved in both situations. Of course, I went up to New Hampshire to cover the Adam Montgomery trial. And of course, he was a coward and he waived his rights to show up. But we ended up going, do y'all remember Tone Capone? The drug dealer. He's like, I go by Tone Capone. And the drug dealer was letting him live in the parking lot, and he was supplying him with drugs and shit. It was a crazy. He was the nicest drug dealer to ever be a drug dealer. So basically, he beat Harmony Montgomery to death. And the things he done to her body are just, I can't even repeat it. It's that bad. I mean, squeezing the blood out of her. You know, they were actually walking around New Hampshire with her in a stroller dead and riding around with her body and taking the body to work. And just, it was absolutely horrific. Kayla Montgomery and Adam Montgomery knew they were going to get caught. And when they did, they had planned on pointing the fingers at each other. They planned it. They had even came out in court and they planned it. And that Kayla was going to testify against him. And he was going to go to prison and she would walk. But basically, this woman, Kayla Montgomery, she should be in prison right beside Adam. She's no different than a Jen Soto. She didn't allow him to beat their kids together because they had kids together. Adam and her did. So she didn't allow her kids to be beat, but she allowed Crystal Sorey's child to be beat, which was Adam's child from his first relationship. So she was okay with him beating on that child and abusing that child, just not her children. And they basically planned this, and their plan went off just like they planned it. She blamed him. She got a light sentencing for testifying against him, and she got out so she could take care of the kids. They planned that. They completely planned it, which was unbelievable to hear that they had this plan in place and that their plan was working right in front of you. They're talking about their plan in the court, knowing they had a plan, and the plan still worked. I just like, unbelievable to me. And this is a case where I actually broke down into tears. There was a part in this case that made me cry like a baby. And it hurts my heart to even think about it still to this day. They were staying at this place called the Fit Shelter, okay, for people that like homeless people. It's like basically not a halfway house, but a place you stay with till they can find you somewhere to stay. A transitional home, I guess is what they would call it. And it's called the Fit Shelter. It was actually right by the jail, or by the courthouse. So we took you guys to show you where that was at while we was up there in New Hampshire. But while they were staying in this place, they were sticking Harmony Montgomery in the ceiling, up in the ceiling tiles. And bodily fluids were leaking from Harmony Montgomery. And they were soaking into the ceiling tiles. And what they did was they cut out the ceiling, they wrapped it in plastic, and they brought the ceiling into the courtroom. All right. This is where it got bad for me. And I think I'm pretty tough and I can take a lot of stuff, right? And this one broke me down. This broke me down. So they come out there and they unwrap this ceiling. And when they open it, you can honestly smell death. There's a huge stain on the tiles. And the prosecutor, and at this point, everybody in the courtroom standing up, right? And the prosecutor said, this is what is left. The only thing we have left of Harmony Montgomery. And it's a stain on a ceiling tile. It broke me slamming to tears, right? I was trying to fight the tears, everything I could. And I'm just bawling out crying at this point, right? And as a man, you don't usually try to cry in front of a bunch of people. It's just not what you do. Everybody's crying. I mean, grown-ass men, old men, young men, cops. Everybody in the damn courtroom is crying. So many people are crying that the bailiff came around with a box of handkerchiefs, giving them to everybody. That, I mean, it was so horrible. I'll never forget it to the day they put me in a coffin. It was that bad. It was so bad that if they would have brought him out there, people would have strung him up by his toes. Like, it was bad. Like, I knew it wasn't going to take long for a jury to convict Adam Montgomery, right? Because this shit is like, it is so heartbreaking. Like, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's some of the saddest testimony I have ever sat through in my life. You know, I even sat through Megan Boswell, where she put the baby in the trash can, Leilani baby in the trash can. This was worse. This was worse because of what they did to this baby after this baby was dead. You know, with power tools and squeezing its blood out its body into the drains and stopping up the drain, having to get a plumber to come over and to get organs out of the drain. And it's so bad. It is so bad. Like, I swear, if these people call me one more time, I swear to Lord, I'll never get insurance. Okay, look. So it was bad. That's really all I can say about that. And like, this goes to the thing is this, you know, Adam Montgomery was charged with a gun charge from being on parole, and he got 30 years or something like that, right? 30 years, or was it 60 years? I think it was 30 years. He got 30 years for the gun charge, if I remember correctly. And he told the judge, before the judge sentenced him on the gun charge, he said, listen, I wait for my day in court for my daughter. I didn't hurt my daughter. Don't try me and punish me for the disappearance of my daughter. Okay? I wait for my day in court. So they give him like the max they could give you, right? Then he sat there that day and said he couldn't wait for his day in court to prove that he was innocent. But yet he never showed up to court one day. Day one, they brought him in on a TV, and he waived his right to have to be in the courtroom. So he was never in the courtroom for the trial. I swear, see, it don't stop ringing all day. Just ring, 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 ring. They just keep calling. Which, like a coward, he didn't face what everybody had to say. Well, now he wants to appeal it and get a new trial. Let's jump into this a little bit real fast.
In the spotlight this morning, convicted killer Adam Montgomery, who is one step closer to getting a new trial. The New Hampshire Supreme Court will hear arguments next month in Montgomery's request for a new murder trial. Montgomery was convicted in the murder of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony. He was sentenced to 56 years to life in prison. And earlier this year, his attorneys filed an appeal citing 3 errors: the court's failure to sever assault and murder charges, evidence of past abuse that was admitted, and Montgomery's interaction with police in 2021 that was shown to the jury. Here's that video.
Your ex, Crystal, I did talk to her. She's like not mad at you. She's just kind of concerned. She hasn't seen her kid. So that's why the bells and whistles start going off and people fall off. You know what I mean? So I don't know her that well. I know you better. I only met her once, so I don't know what type of woman is. What kind of woman is she? She's crazy. When's the last time you had to talk to her? 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Yeah. What happened 2 years ago? You guys stopped talking. I don't even want to say nothing more, man. I really don't. Would you guys have like another blowout? No.
No, I'm not in Florida. I need no probation.
She wanted to see her kid. What's so bad about it that you don't want her to see? I let her see her. Oh, you did? Yeah. Like in person or like? Yeah. Oh. And then it was just not a good visit? I get nothing else to say, John. Right? Well, hey, if she did something wrong, I want to know. I can't.
And we want to point out that jurors saw that video you just saw, but they saw it with no audio. So we're asking, does Adam Montgomery deserve a new trial? Here to discuss, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt and criminal defense attorney David Bruno. David, I want to start with you. Does he have a chance at his appeal?
Ooh, I'm scratching my head on this one, on this conviction. But I'll tell you what, one of the most frequently issues that gets convictions reversed is this prior acts. That's really, I look at the three areas. He's arguing prejudice because of a lack of severance on the assault and the murder, the prior allegations of abuse, and the statement. That kind of really may go into sort of that area. And that is where, as prosecutors, you really want to convict on the actual facts and allegations of the incident itself. Generally speaking, history is prohibited from coming in unless there's a very specific rule of evidence that allows it in. Usually it's 404. That we use throughout all of these states. And if there's relevance that is needed.
From my understanding right now, he is in Virginia in jail. He's incarcerated in a prison in Virginia. Why that is, I don't know, but if I'm not mistaken, he is in a Virginia prison.
Probative evidence, lack of mistake, it goes to purpose. There's a pattern, things like that gets decided before the trial. Then it gets allowed for those particular reasons. So when I look at this appeal, I see sort of that thread going through all three about prior abuses and prejudice that the defendant is arguing. But just because they accept this appeal doesn't mean it is getting reversed either, which is a worthy point to make.
Yeah, absolutely. Jennifer, so in that situation, as David was describing it, so you could see how jurors might take a look at past abuse that he did on his beautiful little daughter, Harmony, and then say, yeah, you know what? He killed her.
Yeah, and I mean, this was tough because I don't think her body was ever found, so we really don't have that evidence of her, death and how it was caused. But there was a lot of other evidence that were brought into the case. You're dealing with a beautiful child, so I think it's a really tough one. I'm not so sure he's going to get a new trial based on all the facts that came in during his first trial.
Now, his attorney said his estranged wife, Kayla, should not have been allowed to testify about Harmony's abuse. Let's go ahead and listen to some of what she had to say while she was on the stand.
Did you see him put Harmony in that duffel bag?
Yes.
How did he put her in there, Kayla?
He folded her in half and put her in the duffel bag.
And this was just another one of the trials here that we cover at Court TV that was so hard to watch and listen to the testimony of how this little girl was treated. David.
Let me tell you, that is one of the most brutal, what they described happened to Harmony Montgomery is some of the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. Right? Like, it was so bad. Like I said, it made grown men cry. Like, just sitting around, every dude you looked at was either had tears in his eye or wiping tears away from his face. And this is men.
What'd you think of her testimony? I mean, she was quite emotional on the stand, obviously.
Yeah, very emotional. Prosecutors have to bring the witnesses that have the personal knowledge. And unfortunately, they don't get to pick their witnesses. They don't get to pick the spouse of a...
No, she's not in jail. She has been released. She got, I think, 16 months total or something like that. And part of her testifying, they gave her a deal, and there was two different Kaylas. There was one Kayla that was talking to the prosecutor, and then there was one Kayla that was talking to the defense attorneys. So you really don't let this little clip fool you. This woman was really smug to the prosecutors, but really crying for the lawyers, right? She put on a fucking good show, right? They need to move her to Hollywood.
Defendant on a child abuse case. Let's not forget, Adam did not even appear at trial. I mean, you could imagine what the jury thinks about that. He wasn't in court for the testimony. He wasn't in court there. He was still in his jail cell when they were brought over, something that we were all talking about when we were watching that. But again, this 404B evidence for prosecutors is dangerous. And really, as prosecutors, and I've dealt with this before, do you need it? Do you really need to bring in the prior acts to support your allegations? Because certainly this is a very, very dangerous area.
I think it was like 16 months, Jody. Don't quote me on that. I think it wasn't long. She had to do a little bit more time before she got out. So I don't remember exactly, but I can tell you this, it wasn't long.
When it comes to appeal, when appellate courts are looking at this and they're asking the same question, was it needed? Did it override the prejudice that it brought to the case?
Now, police body camera footage shown to jurors violated his right to remain silent. That's what he's arguing. Why don't we go ahead and listen to a little bit more of that? And Jennifer, I'll talk with you about it on the other side.
You're not in trouble. Nobody said you're losing your daughter. Right? So I want to make that clear. That's all, I have my body tomorrow, just like everybody else is being on video. So you just need to find out where she is. That's all I'm concerned. I mean, you're not in any trouble right now that I know of. Okay. There's no warrants. Okay. So where's your daughter so we can check on her to make sure that she's okay? Right now, I have nothing to say to you guys. But that's not what I'm just asking where she is. I have nothing to say. So you don't care if your daughter's okay? I do. I listen, I have nothing to say.
And Jennifer kept saying, I have nothing to say.
Right. So, I mean, he didn't confess anything. He didn't say anything about the crime. He just said he had nothing to say. So I don't see how he's arguing that, that was violating his rights. He was clearly not going to talk until he got a lawyer or until, there was some further questioning. So I'm not so sure how this is a ground for overturning his fiction.
Yeah, we'll continue to follow it.
Okay. So there we go. We got two monsters that are trying to get new trials. Now, I pray to God that neither one of these people are given a new trial. I mean, I think it's both of these people are killers. They both killed their kids, right? One mother, one father. Like, why even give them a chance? They had their day in court. One, I don't want to go back to New Hampshire. So, and Georgia, right? Both places, I spent time in during these trials. And, I'm probably going to end up going back to Cali for the horror stuff when they finally get sentenced. So I'll end up going back out to San Bernardino. Like, they had their day. Listen, you didn't show up to court the first time. Why give him a second chance of showing up at court? That's what I say. The hell with them. Throw them under the jail, rot in prison. You're monsters. Right? We got to start treating these criminals good. So, and of course, they never found any remains of Harmony's body. The mother did sue the state, Crystal Sorey, sued the state of New Hampshire. And I believe she was awarded $2 million, right? Some people don't really care for Crystal Sorey because she was strung out on drugs, and some people blame her just as much as they blame Adam. Not me, I don't, right? But she was battling her addiction while all this was going on, and so she wasn't really there for her daughter. So I think that's why people get upset with her, is because she was strung out on drugs at the time all this was going down. But she didn't murder her daughter. And not only was she not there for her daughter, but the state failed her daughter. They literally sent, she's still on drugs, says Big Bird. Okay. Allegedly. We're going to say allegedly. I don't know. I haven't seen her on drugs, but we'll say allegedly. Well, she got plenty of money to do drugs now if she wants to. She's a millionaire now. And, like, I sat behind her in court, and I watched her cry, and to see her so brokenhearted, and I know people, like I said, people out there don't like Crystal Sorey. I felt really bad for her. But I'm, you know me, I'm a big softy, and I feel bad for people like that, right? And even strung out on drugs, you don't think your baby daddy going to kill your baby, right? You know, I don't think she ever thought that was going to happen to Harmony, and it did. So I go with her tears are real. You know, some people may disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But it, like I said, it's hard to sit beside. Well, I sat behind her, a grieving mother crying, and hearing how her baby's been killed. It's bad. It was bad, guys. I ain't even gonna lie. It was fucking bad. And just the emotions in the courtroom was heightened because of the situation. To drag her back through that, not good. So I'm hoping New Hampshire does the right thing. They deny this because, you know, he didn't show up to the first one. He had every chance to go in there and defend himself, and he chose not to. He didn't care enough to even show up to court. So why give him a second chance? Now, as far as, you know, Leilani Simon, I think Leilani may get another trial. I do. Because you think about it, they didn't go into how this baby was killed. They gave no explanation of how this baby was killed. If Leilani would have had any kind of decent lawyer, the lawyer would have had her confess to the crimes and say the baby was in the crib, it choked to death, because there was throw up in the playpen. Okay. And she didn't know what to do. She panicked, threw the baby away. Now we're talking does away with the murder and you get out of prison one day. All right. But she didn't. She denied all the way until her ass was in the prison that she had anything to do with the death of this baby. She tried to blame Danny, right? But like I said, in court, not one time did they ever say how Quentin Simon died. My whole thing is this, and I'm not trying to defend Leilani. Don't think I am. How can we put somebody in prison for murder and we don't know how the baby died? They never said the baby was murdered. Okay? They never said the baby was murdered in court. How do you do that, right? They never even went over how she could have unalived this baby. There's no murder weapon. Nothing. So, I mean, I do believe Leilani Simon may get a new trial, which sucks. But I'm just thinking under the legal aspect of it, her argument is a good argument. She was convicted for murder, but yet they never proved that this baby was murdered. Which is, yeah. So I would think by January of next year, so we may see 2026, we may see a new trial for Leilani Simon. Now, Adam Montgomery, I don't think there's a chance in hell they're giving him a new trial. Okay. I think that's done. So that's just good talking point today. But I honestly don't believe that Adam Montgomery will get another trial. Done. He's out of here. See, sit in prison, rot, bitch, right? Leilani Simon, I think there's going to be another trial for her, and which I think sucks really bad. But legally, if I look at it from a legal aspect, I would say, yeah, well, it makes sense. You know, you're going to have to prove that how this baby died. And I'm telling you now, guys, the police did a terrible job investigating Leilani Simon. They did a great job of finding Quentin. They didn't give up. They pushed. They found the baby. But they didn't test blood samples. They left shit behind. They contaminated the crime scene. The police were picking up stuff with no gloves on. They didn't have no gloves. They just happened to run out of blue gloves that day. So everything is tampered with and stomped on and trampled on. Charlie Kirk lost his life for the right for free speech. They celebrate the death of a person. Big difference. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. You know? But I think these people lost their job because they were hateful, not because of what they said. It's because they're hateful people, and companies don't want hateful people working for them. That's what I hope they lost their jobs for, and not over what they said. I hope they lost their job because they were hateful, because I believe in freedom of speech. I truly do. I don't believe that you should be a hateful ass person and working for me. So I'm hoping most of these companies fired them because they were hateful people and not what they said. All right. We still got to fight for our freedom of speech here, right? You know, like the Beastie Boys fight for your right to party. We got to fight for freedom of speech as a whole for Charlie Kirk and people that disagree with Charlie Kirk. For everybody. Freedom of speech works all the way around. Okay. We can't pick and choose what we consider freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Hopefully these companies fired these people because they were hateful. And they didn't want hateful people working for them. You know, and plus, if you know, a lot of states don't have to have a reason to fire you. Like Virginia is one of those states. A company can fire you for anything. Don't like the way you look. Fired. Okay. So crazy. But anyway, let's just pray to God that there's no trial for Adam. There's no trial for Harmony Montgomery, and still continue to pray for Charlie Kirk and his family as they go through this tough time of healing and grieving, and don't laugh at anybody dying. Right? That's horrible. Don't do that. And I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I will be back later tonight. Plus, there is Turtle Island tonight on my other channel, Dolly Uncensored. But I'll probably see you guys about 7:30ish, 8 o'clock for some true crime up here. We got some other things we want to talk about too. And I'm going to get ready to get out of here. So you guys stay blessed. And just remember, if nobody else does, Dolly loves you, right? We got to love each other in this world. There needs to be more love and a whole lot less hate. And this world will be a lot better place. I can promise you that. All right. Peace, guys.